8.
Under 7 minutes remaining, and this is a rock-solid game management job done right now by Clay Chalkville, Eddie.
Absolutely. They're putting it in the hands of the offensive line right there. Those big bodies up front, they're telling those guys, drive them off the line. We're just going to run the football and run this clock on out.
And I tell you what, they're certainly opening up a few more holes in this fourth quarter. As Mbakwe will give off to the backup running back as he gets tripped up, but not before a first down, as it'll be Taurus Chambers that time on the carry.
Flag on the field.
Already the Oxford sideline signaling as far as that holding call as that play's coming back.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
So second down coming up. A second and long.
Second and 18.
As it'll be second down and 18 yards to go. What would have been a first down run for Taurus Chambers instead results in a second and about Talladega to go. Keeper for Mbakwe. He gets hit hard that time, just shy of the original line of scrimmage by Judd Sire. So Sire with a physical hit that time, as that was a gain of about 6. Time a factor, however, for Oxford, as Clay Chalkville is just slowly bleeding this clock away.
And I think you'll probably see them run it again. You'll see some kind of fancy run now. And if they get across the 50, you're probably going to see a fourth down run as well.
Third down and 12. Mbakwe throws, and that is incomplete.
Pass
intended for Robinson, Kumar Robinson. As it'll be punting time with 5:17 remaining in the ball game.
4th and 12 for the Cougars.
Our fourth quarter brought to you by Miller Funeral Home, Bluefish Japanese Sushi and Steakhouse, our FNN high school football game of the week.
Hampton deep to receive for the Jackets.
Here's the punt. And a low line drive that time that goes to the 15-yard line. So not pretty, but gets the job done that time for Xavier Starks.
Well, he got it off pretty quick. He had a guy barreling down on him off the right side, and he's close to getting a block.
5:07 remaining in the game, and a lot of work still for Oxford as they're down 2 scores with time becoming very precious. Mason Mims was able to convert on a 17-yard touchdown pass to Nick Richardson on Oxford's last possession. Mims under pressure, stops and chunks it down the field and complete at the 45. And that's good enough for the Oxford first down. Nick Richardson on that catch. Oxford Lumber with a second look at that on-time Fashions first down.
Well, the safeties just went to sleep on that. I mean, a deep crossing route right there, and they went to sleep.
So it'll be first down and 10 at the 48-yard line.
I go to double pass right there.
And a backwards pass. So loose ball as Clay Chalkville picks it up, and they're going to take it to the house for the touchdown. So picking up the lateral that time for the Clay Chalkville Cougars was Rod Ivy, as you see that Oxford Lumber second look result in a touchdown.
And they almost made a mistake on that particular play right there. Now I believe I see a flag on the far side.
Well, we'll find out what this flag's all about. Very interesting call coming up.
Illegal formation. On the offense. That penalty declined. Touchdown.
So with 4:35 remaining, that illegal motion declined. And so, Eddie, that pretty much is a nail in the coffin for Oxford tonight.
Well, you know, Oxford ran that play early. I was wondering if he was going to pick up that football. And that's just being aware right there when they throw it backwards, because I saw the double pass coming. They tried to run it early.
Ellison coming on for the PAT. Snap, hold, and kick on the way. It is up and good. We'll take the timeout. 28-6 in favor of Clay Chalkville here on the FNN High School Football Game of the Week.
Ace is the place for paint, because only Ace offers the Extra Mile Promise. We'll help you get everything you need to paint in one trip, or we'll deliver it free. Premium paint, award-winning service, and the Extra Mile Promise. Ace is the place for paint. Around the block, what you need in stock, with service so good it's guaranteed.
At Oxford Lumber, Jacksonville Home Center, Talladega Home Center, Roanoke Home Center, or online at oxfordlumber.com.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
A momentum-changing play for the Clay Chalkville defense as they're able to take advantage of a loose ball on the lateral by Oxford. And Rod Ivey was able to scoop and score as Clay Chalkville basically 4:35 away from taking this one to the house and clinching Class 6A Region 6.
And I can tell you, James, now on that particular play, I can see why Coach probably a little bit upset with him because of all the penalties and the probably lack of focus, because on that particular scoop and score, they almost let it go out of bounds.
Here's Ellison with the kickoff that goes out of bounds. And looked as if it hit right around the pylon. No flags, so they say it does go in the end zone, so it'll be 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. I've been very impressed, Eddie, with Clay Chalkville all the way around, but especially their defense. They may be, even though they got a shutout against Huffman last week, this may be their best defense.
Right, they extremely impressive, and I think my only quarrel with them would be I just think they may have got a little bit too relaxed the second half, you know.
Mims, the quarterback, under pressure. Short throw is incomplete as that tunnel screen was read all the way.
Yeah. No, the only touchdown coming off a defensive scoop and score, you know, the offense was unable to really put anything as explosive as they were in the first half. You know, they should have been able to at least score at least once in the second half, but not putting up any points in the second half, you know, kind of be point of emphasis for me, you know, next weekend meetings.
Kamari Hampton, the intended receiver. Delay give to Wilson. Big running room and the first down and more as he advances forward all the way to about the 45-yard line. To pick up here at Lamar Field as we'll take an Oxford Lumber second look at that first down run.
First down, Yellow Jackets.
Really solid run, best run of the night from DK Wilson.
Yeah, just a little. They did a little inside tackle end twist right in there, and they got kind of caught right in the middle of that stunt, and he was able to hit the right hole there.
Play action for Mims, under pressure, wrapped up, and got slammed down, in fact. No chance that time for Mason Mims as Nakarius Allen on the sack.
He got hit pretty hard right there. He's a little shaken up right there.
In fact, I'm a little surprised Mims is still in the game right now. And yeah, this is a WWE body slam right there.
Right, and his head hit first, so that, you know, that's
concussion territory right there.
Absolutely.
So 2nd and 21. High snap and give to Thomas. Big running room and gets across the original line of scrimmage to about the 48-yard line.
Ivy on the stop.
Under 3 minutes to go as the Oxford side of the Lamar Field stand starts to empty.
3rd and 10.
Tough night for the home team. as Clay Chalkville has been showing why they're the number 2 ranked team in the state. 3rd and long. Delay give goes to Jayden Thomas off the left side and goes forward to about the 48-yard line of Clay Chalkville.
Well, it's 4th down here, so you got to go for it. I mean, there's no need in punting the football, so.
Let me ask you this, Eddie. Does Clay Chalkville look like a state championship contender to you?
Absolutely, they do. Just a few things to clean up, You know, in my opinion, I just think they got a little lackadaisical in the second half, and you want to, as Coach said during his interview, you want to make sure that they. See, that's another example right there.
4th down throw to Nick Richardson is complete. That's an on-time Fashions 1st down, and Oxford Lumber 2nd look.
And it's just, if you watch up top where we don't get a chance to see it, but right there, he just ran a little inside post route, and with a safety already on the hash mark, that pass should never be completed if you're reading the quarterback eyes.
There's a loose ball after the snap, and let's see who has it. If Clay Chalkville has it, they can pretty much just take knees and run this clock out. They'll unpile, and it is Oxford ball.
Ball recovered by the Yellow Jackets.
So the clock will stop right now with 95 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. Miller Funeral Home brings you our 4th quarter. By the way, our Battle at the Belt next week, as we'll make the trip over on I-20 to Moody, as they'll take on Southside for a Class 5A Region 6 championship showdown in St. Clair County next week. So the officials take their time. Line to reach to the 1st down for Oxford's all the way at the 21-yard line.
So apparently they threw some flag.
On the defense, it's a 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
That's interesting, a hold on the defense. At least as far as the winner, it's academic at this point. Just a matter of if Oxford can get another score on the board to make the score a little more respectable. Ray Barrera missed a 29-yard field goal early in the 1st quarter that really hurt Oxford's cause, as the tunnel screen complete, but not much for Nick Richardson. Approaching 1 minute remaining.
2nd and 9.
What do you see as Oxford's potential in the postseason, Eddie?
Well, I think, they got a few things to work on, and, I think they may have been a little intimidated at the beginning of this game, but, once you play the best, you know where you stack up against them, and you have to
throw to the end zone for Richardson for the touchdown.
Nick Richardson for the touchdown.
A 19-yard score off another Martin's Pharmacy red zone trip for Oxford. There's Mims, and Oxford Lumber gives you a 2nd look at that touchdown combo of Mims to Richardson.
And see, Coach just won't be happy with that, That's just simply not being focused. I mean, you don't let the defense get behind you. He was 4 or 5 yards behind the safety that time.
So 45.4 seconds remain. And looks as if the Yellow Jackets want to go for 2. Down 28-13. Really the final moments of tonight's ball game. Mims under pressure, tosses, and that is complete for the 2-point conversion once again to Richardson.
For the conversion.
2 points on the board makes it 28-14. 45 seconds remain here on the FNN High School Football Game of the Week.
Located in Alexandria, Alabama, Ron's Barbecue is now back open 10 to 8 Wednesday through Sunday. A local, family-owned and operated business, Ron's is providing slow-smoked ribs, barbecue chicken, and more. Known for the huge buffalo chicken tenders and the delicious smash burger, Ron's is perfect for the family night out or a lunchtime meeting. Come on out and try Calhoun County's newest local barbecue restaurant.
45.4 seconds remain as Clay Chalkville, in about 45 seconds, if they can do what they need to do, would clinch the #1 seed out of Region 6 in Class 6A. Barrera on the onside kick. And well done that time by the special teams hands unit, as it was Allen recovering the onside kick. And now just a couple of knees and should do it, Eddie, as far as tonight's game.
Right, that should be it, because you don't want to get anybody injured, on either side. So, I wouldn't play aggressive defense, and on offense, I'd just take a knee and run the clock out.
43.8 seconds remain, as Jalen Mbakwe and the Cougars offense will come out onto the field, and they've done more than enough tonight to go on the road, get a solid W, and go back on I-20 with a region championship. Probably a couple more snaps tonight. Give goes to Chambers.
Osley, the ball carrier.
Or check that, Osley to the 41-yard line as timeout called for by Oxford. Britt and Sire on the tackle.
They're first of the half.
So first timeout called for. Let's go ahead and take the timeout with them here on the FNN High School Football Game of the Week.
That Joe Biden and Hunter Biden were paid $10 million in bribes.
The floodgates are literally open here.
Mike Rogers is standing up to crooked Joe Biden in D.C. Mike Rogers is our way of fighting back.
The FNN High School Football Game of the Week. 37.4 seconds remaining from coming to the finish line, as this was a battle of undefeated teams in the Region 6 this week. Also a top 10 matchup across the state, as it's a 2nd and 3, and just one more first down would wrap this up. Mbakwe will have Osley as his only setback. Give to Osley, and has his first down. An on-time Passions first down. As that will probably be the final, at least play run, but we'll have another timeout. And let's take the timeout with them here on the FNN High School Football Game of the Week.
And happy Halloween, everyone, and welcome in to FNN's Tuesday night high school football coaches show. It is week number 10. Can you believe that? As we come to you live from Strutt's Wings here in Oxford, Jim Jacobs, James Hardy. Of course, Joe Medley is on assignment over in Birmingham, taking care of the volleyball stuff that's happening over at the Crossplex today, tomorrow, Thursday. Define 7 state champions, and of course, bad news for the Oxford faithful. I just saw where Bayside Academy sent the Lady Jackets home today, but Wendy McKibben's team fared fairly well against the the defending 22-time state.
I think 20 something like that.
21 working on 22.
When you get that high, I mean, is anybody really keeping score at that point?
Does it matter? But what a great thing happening over there. Of course, we've got some area teams. I think Donahoe went out today, but we've still got Pleasant Valley over there. Alexandria won today in their first round stuff. So the Lady Cubs advance on, looking to get a state championship in Class 5A. As they're the top seed out of the North.
Good for them, certainly, and good luck to the Valley Cubs and certainly all of our area teams that are still this far into their season.
Yeah, hey, anytime you get a chance to play in the Elite 8 in volleyball, you've had a good year. And, of course, 7 teams will return home with the coveted blue map.
Which tells, I mean, we talk about this as far as the football season, but you talk about every one of these teams across the state of Alabama that has their goal in the preseason of getting a blue map, and when you can put yourself in position to be able to hoist that blue map at the end of the season, even if you don't win it, just that you're even close to that position, you know you've had an outstanding season.
And, of course, we've got a busy night ahead over the next 90 minutes for you here at Strutt's in Oxford as we bring you our next to final coaches show of the season. It's hard to believe we're already at the end of the road, James, and about to jump on the 4-laner to the playoffs.
Oh, I know. We talked about this, about midway through the season, that when you start piling up enough of these high school football seasons on the circuit, then you realize how fast a season can go by.
Yep. It's like don't blink because it's over.
Exactly.
I mean, it seems like it was just a couple of weeks ago we were sweating over at Raglan getting ready for Vincent and the Purple Devils on a Friday night after having been over at the Creek Bank the night before.
That's right.
For Sachs and Ohatchee and just sweating weather, and it finally got cold outside today.
Oh, I know. I think it started when I got back from a little dog sitting assignment in Tuscaloosa yesterday when I stepped out of the truck to get to my house in Lincoln. It's like, the fall chill had finally gotten here.
Yeah, you and Eddie better be glad you're indoors.
Without a doubt.
For both of our games this week. And speaking of our games this week, we've got a doubleheader for you coming up. On Thursday night, we're headed over to Raiders Stadium. There it is on the screen for Pleasant Valley and Weaver. Nothing comes of this for either team other than bragging rights. Pleasant Valley is in the playoffs as the 3 seed in their region. Weaver didn't make it this year, but a lot of strides for Ken Kofer's Bearcats. And I'll tell you what, they didn't win, 3 games going into Thursday. But, James, they were in almost in every game they played. And I think you're going to see Weaver be a team to contend with next year.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. In fact, even talking with Coach Kofer on Monday, he's looking at Thursday's game, our first of 2 games this week as part of our games of the week, as far as their game at Pleasant Valley, as far as maybe like a springboard, kind of a first game of 2024 type deal. Because, the competitor in him still would love to have seen those close losses turn into W's, and maybe they would be in the postseason, but still. And we'll see a lot of really solid younger players, freshmen and sophomores, for Coach Kofer's squad. So very interested to see just without really anything to look forward to this year, how Weaver at least handles mentally their final game of the season.
And then, of course, the following night, we're up in Center at Warrior Stadium, Bobby Joe Johnson Field, to see the 4A juggernaut of North, the Cherokee County Warriors, currently unbeaten on the season, hosting 6A Fort Payne, which is no cupcake, James. Fort Payne won this game last year, but I think it's a different animal that they're going to jump on come Friday night.
Oh, I mean, this has been a machine as far as Cherokee County this year that really when you look at their schedule, and we thought as far as Piedmont, who we'll be talking to later on tonight, that maybe the lowest part and some of the most difficult part as far as that journey was right at the very beginning for Piedmont, especially under first-year coach Jonathan Miller. But you look at Cherokee County's schedule, and Piedmont's actually played Cherokee County the closest game so far this year.
Absolutely. And Cherokee County just continues to roll, and we'll see them Friday night against the Fort Payne Wildcats. All right, let's look ahead as to what's in front of us over the next 90 minutes here this evening. We've got a great guest lineup. I'm not sure if Coach Miller's going to make it in. I understand he's out trick-or-treating. He went as himself tonight.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Okay, that's, of course, 2 young children, him and his wife, Lauren. So he may be here, he may not be here, but he has 3 young men, including our player of the week, Luke Reinhardt. We'll talk about that big 2-point conversion catch that catapulted Piedmont from oblivion into the playoffs as the 3 seed. How about that?
I tell you what, give them and Coach Miller a lot of credit for persevering through what's been a somewhat tumultuous first season for Coach Jonathan Miller. But, I mean, we've seen as far as what Jonathan Miller did at Sachs as far as building them into a very consistent, really Class 3A statewide contender. And, I mean, it's not going to surprise me if he's able to, once he can get his system in up at Piedmont, if he can do a lot of similar things for the Bulldogs program.
I wouldn't want to be J.B. Pennington in 2 Fridays. That's all I've got to say.
100%.
All right, and also joining us tonight, we've talked about a juggernaut from the north. Well, there's a juggernaut just to the south of us that a lot of people aren't making a lot of noise about, and that is to their own peril. The currently unbeaten and just incredible defensive and offensive machine, the Central Clay County Volunteers, and everybody's, all-time great coach Danny Horn is here with us, and we're going to get with Coach Horn in just a bit. And then, of course, we'll wrap up the evening tonight with Coach Michael Shortt. We finally got him scheduled in. He was here back at the beginning of the year, and we didn't get him on. And then he's, of course, had obligation after all. Hey, he's Mr. Football around here.
There you go.
But we're going to talk with Coach Shortt about the playoffs and what he thinks is ahead as we get this season underway as far as the second season starting on November the 10th. With all that said, we're going to grab our first break, and when we come back, we'll get to Coach Horn. Central Clay County comes up next here with us on the Tuesday Night High School Football Coaches Show on FNN. Stay with us.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now, these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the FNN Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
Family owned and operated for over 50 years, Miller Funeral Home is committed to providing families with the finest services for their loved ones, including our newest service, Aquamation. Aquamation is a gentle, respectful, and eco-friendly alternative to flame cremation. Miller Funeral Home is the only facility in the state of Alabama that offers the Aquamation service. Call us or visit our website today to learn more about how we can serve you and your loved ones.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Welcome back to the Tuesday Night High School Football Coaches Show here on FNN. We're live at Strutt's Wings here in Oxford. Again, happy Halloween. Jim Jacobs, James Hardy, and to my right, Mr. 350. Coach Danny Horn of the Central Clay Volunteers. And first off, Coach, welcome to the show. Glad to have you. Glad you could make your way up to join us for Halloween night.
I appreciate you asking us, and it's nice to be here.
Well, good. We'll talk about what wings you had here or are having in just a minute, but let's talk about your season so far. I asked you before we came back live here on the air, did you see this season coming? And, I mean, because obviously you've been a defensive juggernaut. Offensively, you've scored more than enough points to win most weeks, between 30 and 50 each week. I think the closest anybody's come to you is 13, and that was last week, I believe. But you hadn't given up more than 2 touchdowns a game, and when you do that, most weeks you're going to win.
Most times you are. That's the truth. And, well, I mean, coming in this year, I thought defensively we had a chance to be, better than we were last year because we had 7 starters back. But they're not all playing in the same position. But I was a little concerned about defensive line, and I'm on the offensive side. I was worried about the offensive line. I thought skill people-wise was okay. I was just a little worried about line, and we started out slow during the fall practice. I didn't think we looked great, especially on the offensive line, and then we played in the jamboree and didn't look too good there, and then the next Friday we go down to Benjamin Russell and. Of course, we don't never really prepare for the jamboree. We always practicing for the next game. We just basically show up and play, for the jamboree. But we got done there and we had a little game plan and we executed and played well and won against a very good Benjamin Russell team. In fact, they just won their region last week.
Right.
Against Helena and a great skilled people and. We kind of, and it worked to really perfection. And our plan was try to keep the ball away from them and eat up the clock, and we did. And we made some plays, and we won that game and got a little confidence. And then when we go into Towson, they're a little down this year compared to what usually are, but we played well. And then we played Edmore County, who's really good this year. We went and really played one of the better games that night down there and got some more confidence and just kind of snowballed from there. And we've been playing well. I thought last week, probably in the second half, we didn't play up to what I'm used to seeing or what I'm used to expecting. But it's been a great year. I mean, if you're 9-0, then something, you're doing something right. And the kids have really played hard and played well.
Coach, I thought the measuring stick really that started getting you guys the attention that you're garnering every week now was the Hanley game. Yeah. I mean, Hanley comes into your place and, they're all world in 4A, one of the teams everybody's talking about maybe coming out of the South, and you spanked them and sent them home with a sandwich.
Well, I don't know about spanking, but we did play well that night, and they had a couple of turnovers that we turned into points. And, I think, I really think after Delmore County, we started getting a little more confidence, and then especially after Hanley, it's all about confidence and believing in what you're doing, and the kids have really, bought into, what we want them to do, and after that game, it was a game to which people look at it and say, wow, because Hanley is a good team, and they've got a chance.
Oh, yes, no doubt.
There's no doubt about it. They got a chance in the South, although the 4A South is really tough. But after that game, it built our confidence, and, we just continued, and it really amazing. A lot of games, the game was practically over at halftime, and I hadn't had many seasons where even way back when I had some really good teams.
Of course, we're talking about the Clay County days.
Yeah, and I mean, this team really has amazed me. I mean, how they played and took care of business. Now, in the second half last week, it was not quite as well, but they've really come on.
Now, last year, of course, in the postseason, we got to see Terry Heflin, just how talented he was. Played a great game, even though it was a second-round loss against Gulf Shores. Just kind of describe the task you had coming into the season of replacing him and how that position has been for your team this year.
Well, I don't think you really replaced Terry Heflin because he was, really good. He made offense last year a lot better than really what we were, but we replaced him with LaDamian Boyd, and he's just a junior now. He's been starting in the secondary, and probably our best secondary person. He's starting since the 9th grade. So, and this year, we had to move him to. But he's had some running back experience, but he was always behind Terry, and I'm telling you, he just he took it and ran with it, and he's got some explosive speed. I think he's a little bit more explosive than Terry was. Now Terry was, he could get in there and he could carry the ball 40 times a game. I mean, he was very durable, but LaDamian, I mean, he's already rushed for like 1,700 yards in 9 games. So I thought he could do it, and my biggest concern offensively was on the offensive line because we'd lost 3 pretty good players there and had 2 coming back, but some of the younger guys we got has filled in there, and we played well.
Coach, much like 4A South, 5A South is no cupcake either.
No.
I mean, I see where, if things kind of fall, you and Gulf Shores are going to butt heads maybe in the 3rd round again, and there's some good teams between there and Tuscaloosa.
Oh,
yeah. You've done this a long time. You've played in tons of championship games. Do you let yourself look ahead at all? How do you start preparing for the playoffs?
Well, what I do is I take one game at a time, and I know that's the old cliche, but I do. I don't look at film on our next opponent because you really don't know who it's going to be really. But I go one now. Some of my assistant coaches may. They don't talk much around me about it because I'm pretty particular about not looking ahead. I mean, obviously you can look at when the brackets come out, you can kind of look
right
ahead, but I don't get film or nothing. I just try to go one game at a time and win. I mean, it's hard enough to win, one game, much less. And I've always said that there's too many playoff games. I mean, 5 is too many. It should be about 4. But I understand they lose money on it. But
I'm with you, Coach. I'm with you 100%.
Well, I mean, and I don't really think it's right for 7A. They only have 4.
Right.
Well, that's an advantage for them. That you don't have to win 4 games to be state champion, and winning 5 games to be a state champion is a lot of games. I mean, that's another half a season.
Right.
So, but it is what it is. So I just take one game at a time.
Coach, let me ask you this about, you mentioned 5 games. I used to talk with Coach Smith up at Piedmont about this a lot. How much does that additional practice and all help you get a team ready for the following season? Is it a big deal?
A big difference. It's a big advantage. And I've always said, some coaches said, well, if I'm not going to win at all, I just soon get beat first or second round. Well, that's a losing attitude. I mean, I always try to go as far as I can because it's more practice time. And you know, obviously you're going to lose your seniors, but it's more practice time for them younger kids that run the scout team and those type of things. And I think it's a great advantage when you know, if you can advance every year as far as you can go.
So, Coach, obviously one more regular season game to go before y'all get into the postseason. Wetumpka's been playing some of their best football as of late. They've won 4 out of their last 5. Describe the challenge of going on the road this week against Wetumpka, and especially kind of your final tune-up for the postseason. What do you want to see out of your team this week?
Well, I don't know who scheduled this game, but whoever it was.
Coach, I think you're going to get that one hung on you.
Yeah, but you know, we was just in a bind. Now, let me tell you about scheduling first. You know, for us, it's hard to schedule games, number one.
Because nobody wants to play you.
Right, and you know, it's frustrating, really, because, you know, we're in a 6-team region, which means we had to go get 5 teams, where Wetumpka just happened to have that. And I really didn't want to play them, to be honest about it, but you know, last year we kind of slipped up on them, and I don't think this year we will. They got a lot of people back, and they got the quarterback back, and he's really, really good. And playing down there is going to be a little bit more difficult. And they end up being the number 3 seed in their region, and they're a lot better than they were at the beginning of the year. You know, they lost like the first 3 or 4 games, and then they've won several in a row.
I think they won 5 out of their last 6 or something like that.
They're. I mean, offensively, it all starts with a quarterback, and he's one of those that can run and throw and very elusive, and he's very good. And you know, defensively, they've got a lot of athletes that's got a lot of speed, and I mean, they're a very good team. And I mean, you say most people don't like to play a hard game, the 10th game, which, you know, in our case, we don't really have much of a choice. We're just trying to find somebody to play. And, you know, had I'd rather have an easier game, of course. But, you know, we're in a situation where we either play 9 games or 10 games, and, you know, I'd rather play 10. But it's like I tell the team, it's a great game as far as getting ready for the playoffs, because you're not going to see many teams that's going to be, you know, as athletic as they are. And so it's going to be a big challenge for us, and but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and, you know, I think the advantages of going and playing a quality program like that on the road going into the playoffs is probably a plus for you as well.
It is. You just, you know, you worry a little bit about injury, and, you know, we had 2 last year that got injuries that were out for the playoffs, and so you just hope you can get out of it without it. Obviously, you hope you can get with a win, but you also hope to, you know, get out of there without any major injuries, because, you know, when you play in physical teams like that, there's always that chance. And of course, there's a chance in any game, but you know, we're excited to have a chance to go through the season undefeated, the regular season, and, you know, that's a great accomplishment to have that opportunity, and you know, we're looking forward to it.
Coach, tell us a little bit about the young man you brought with you tonight for us to visit with.
Well, I brought offensive lineman Zaylen Stroud. He last year he played offensive tackle, but we moved him to guard this year, and he's one of them that he can play just about every position. And we don't have much depth, so, you know, he has to move around a lot. And he's really, last year was honestly his first year to play. Been playing basketball, but he came out and started for us last year, and as the year went on, became a very good player. And he's one that, you know, one of the starters that we got back this year on the offensive line, and actually got Player of the Week this week, and a great kid, and you know, all our kids are really good, and you know, he may have a chance to, you know, play at the next level. And then the other one's Aiden Stewart. He on defense, he plays linebacker, but he can play defensive line some because of our depth problem. He has to kind of move back and forth, and wherever you put him, you know, he's going to be he's going to do good, and he's very physical, and he's a starter. He's returning a starter this year and from last year, and he's really come on and plays great technique. And he's very aggressive and very physical, and I mean, we're just we're blessed to have both of them, along with a lot of others, on the team. But they're both not only good players, but they're good kids, and that makes coaching them a lot easier.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, thanks a lot for coming up and joining us tonight, and hopefully we'll get a chance to maybe see you guys along the road down on the playoffs and maybe have another deep run this year.
Well, I hope so. Anytime you play Region 1, whether you play in the 4 seed or 3 seed or 2, it don't matter. It's always tough because that region's pretty tough.
And I bet they're sitting down there thinking anytime you got to play Danny Horn, it's tough too.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but I know it's they probably got the best region,
Coach, who's going to quit first, you or Terry Curtis?
Well, I don't know.
It looks like it's a race between you two.
I don't know, but Terry's a great coach, and I talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and I don't have nothing but respect for him because he's been in a long time, and the longer you're in it, the more respect you got for coaches that stay in it. Because I'm gonna say probably, when a coach starts out, there's probably about a 75% chance that he won't finish in coaching, and that's just I don't know what figures I'm just in my mind. I'm thinking that because it's. Coaching is, a lot of time away from your family, a lot of hard work, but as I get into it older, I realize, winning and losing is important. There's no question about it. But just the relationship you develop with your players is, that's really what it's all about. And he does a good job with that. But I don't know. I can't answer that. You have to ask him that. But with me, I'm toward the end a lot more than I am from the beginning. I can promise you that.
Coach Danny Horn with the Central Clay County Volunteers with us tonight on the Tuesday night high school football coaches show. When we come back, James will sit down with his players, and we'll let Coach get to his wings right after this on FNN.
Advantage Tire and Alignment on Highway 202 in Anniston is so much more than just a new tire and rim shop. There's not enough time in this ad to tell you all the many things they can do to help keep your car in tip-top shape. Advantage Tire uses ASE certified technicians, so you know any work done is top-notch. Bottom line, if it needs repaired or replaced, they can probably do the job and save you money. And when it comes time for new or used tires and rims, Advantage Tire and Alignment prices just can't be beat. Stop in and see Bruce and the crew today. Advantage Tire and Alignment.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Danny Shears, Carolyn Henderson, Terry Howell, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at Calhoun County. You'll be glad you did.
A lot of people always wonder, how does your first-time buyers program work? Hey, I'm here to tell you that we do bad credit, good credit, even no credit at all. I even got down payments as low as $500, even got cards as low as $169 a month. So stop by, let's check it out. Let's see if we can get you approved today. Come by at 411 East Street North, Talladega, Alabama, 35160. Telephone number 205-332-7993. Let's come get you a deal.
Family owned and operated for over 50 years, Miller Funeral Home is committed to providing families with the finest services for their loved ones, including our newest service, Aquamation. Aquamation is a gentle, respectful, and eco-friendly alternative to flame cremation. Miller Funeral Home is the only facility in the state of Alabama that offers the Aquamation service. Call us or visit our website today to learn more about how we can serve you and your loved ones.
It's the FNN Coaches Show, a Halloween special edition this evening from Strutt's Wings in Oxford, and this is also the final regular season week for the 2023 high school football season. James Hardy with you, along with our FNN crew here at Strutt's Wings in Oxford. as we continue our spotlight this evening on the Volunteers of Central Clay County, running through their schedule so far, undefeated at 9-0 on the year. We've already talked with legendary head coach Danny Horn, and we have a couple of his rock-solid players with us. Offensive guard Zaylen Stroud off to my left, and then Aiden Stewart, linebacker and defensive line for the Volunteers, off to my right. A big thanks for both of you for joining us. And first off, let's start with you, Aiden. Just how fun has the season been, especially as far as just going through the schedule and every week getting across the finish line successfully?
It's been a really good season. We've had a lot of tough games, but we prepared for every one of them and done really good.
Have there been, I guess, any sort of games or any moments that you remember that, as far as that may have been difference makers, to kind of tell you we might have something special in our hands as far as your team this year?
I would say our first game we played Benjamin Russell, we didn't know how good we would be, but after that game I knew how good we would be.
So, Zaylen, I'll ask you then, how good is this Central Clay County team?
Yeah, I think we're pretty good. Not trying to sound cocky or anything, but I think we got a chance to make it all the way.
So, do you notice as far as just internally in the locker room, especially as far as your journey in the season, a swagger as far as that sense of confidence developing inside the locker room amongst you and the teammates?
Oh, yes, sir. We're all very confident in ourselves.
So what's made this such a fun year for you?
You know, it's my last year, and we've been doing pretty good and winning. You know, you hate to lose. So, and, you know, we've been executing pretty good. It's making fun.
So, obviously, y'all haven't lost yet. And is this yours, I think, from if I heard from Coach Horn correctly prior to our break, is this just your second year of football?
Yes, sir.
So just kind of talk about what got you out onto the football field last year to begin with.
Well, I got into high school, and one day I was walking to class, and one of my coaches, Coach McCollum, asked who I was, and they told him, and he told me to get out there, and I told him no. And then I had him the next year for history, and I had to hear about it every day. So I finally just decided to give it a try, and I ended up liking it pretty much.
So what kind of changed your mind from as far as turning coach down to accepting coming out on the football field?
Well, I had pretty good size, and you know I ain't have many more years left for high school, so might as well just decide to give it a try. See if I liked it.
So how have you gotten better from your first game you played last year up to now?
The coaches have helped me out a lot. Last year I played right tackle, and my right guard, Ethan Lett, you know, he taught me a lot of things and helped me through the season and told me what to do on plays when I didn't know and stuff. And that helped me throughout this year too, remember what he taught me.
And then, Aiden, Coach Horn, obviously one of the legendary figures, as even just active coaches, but as far as the great history of our state when it comes to high school football, just what's it like for y'all as far as playing for someone that has such history in and of its own as far as the high school football ranks in our state?
It's very great to be a part of that.
And then let's get on as far as what makes Coach Horn such a great coach to play for.
I would say getting us ready for the game during practice and doing all he does to help us and all that.
So let's look at this week, final regular season week, a tough road trip at Wetumpka, but is it kind of almost like for y'all, are y'all taking it like one final dress rehearsal before you get into the postseason?
Yes, sir.
So what's been the message as far as from Coach Horn and the coaches this week to y'all as far as this Friday's game?
Just be ready and do your job and execute.
So, Zaylen, are y'all ready just to kind of get the postseason started?
Yeah, we'll try to take one game at a time and get this one done, hopefully get a win, and then we'll be ready for the playoffs.
I know Coach Horn told us that as far as that's always kind of his approach with y'all as far as making sure you go one game at a time. But as far as I'll ask you this too, do you feel like this week is kind of a dress rehearsal for y'all as far as especially going on the road, a quality team as far as the type of competition that you'll see in the postseason?
Yeah, this team that we played this week, you know, it'll be a really good resemblance to the teams we'll play in the playoffs. You know, they're a 6A team, and majority of the teams we play in the playoffs, have really good players like 6A teams do.
So what do you think? What do y'all think is your potential as far as how far you can go in the postseason?
I think we can go all the way. I think we're pretty good as long as we, play good, execute, and do all the right things.
And then same for you, Aiden. How far can this team go in the postseason?
As far as we want, if we do our job, execute, and be physical.
There you go. As far as just kind of y'all personally, let's see. How far along are you in school as far as junior, senior?
I'm a senior.
You're a senior. So just kind of as far as your journey, once your high school football career is done in Clay County, and once you walk across the podium when it comes to getting your diploma, kind of tell us where you see your life taking you following your high school days. Still a little uncertain?
Yeah, it's still deciding.
Fair enough. And same for you, Zaylin, as far as just once you're done, as far as your not only high school football but high school athletics, where your life journey will take you once you're done at Central Clay County.
I plan on going to college and studying exercise science and take, the knowledge I learned from college and hopefully come back, help this team or any other teams that need it.
So could we see a coaching future for you?
Yeah, there's a chance.
Okay, so do you have any collegiate destination in mind?
Not yet. I'm just applying for certain couple colleges.
There you go. Always, that's a wise move as far as taking an open mind as far as where you want to go to school. But Zaylin, I think you've also played basketball, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
So how's as far as the basketball court, playing basketball, helped you as far as when it comes to your football skills?
I wouldn't say it didn't really have much to do with my football skills. I don't think I'm the right size for basketball because, in the bigger leagues, I'm pretty small compared to everybody else. I just had a lot of weight on me.
So just out of curiosity, football, basketball, your primary sports, any other sports that you play?
No, sir. I just play football and basketball.
So is there any football or basketball that you enjoy more?
I like football a lot better.
Why do you like football?
Well, I'm a lot better at football than I am basketball.
That's a good answer. Very well done. Well done, my friend. Aiden, as well, you play any other sports besides football?
No, sir. Just football.
How much have you enjoyed playing football?
A lot. It's been a good journey to go through.
So just how has that journey for you been as far as just for you personally knowing that this is your final season as a high school football player?
Well, my first 2 years, freshman and sophomore, they were good. And then after that, started junior year, kind of nervous in my first few games. And then after that, it was great.
Nice. So now, as far as the weekends when it comes to the football scene, Saturday, Sunday, any favorite team you pull for or players you like to watch?
On Saturdays, I like to watch Auburn, but lately they ain't been doing too good.
They suck. Yeah, this year they do. The last couple of years they have, but I wouldn't count out Hugh Freeze as far as long term over the next couple of years. So
yeah, me and my girlfriend had went to the one last weekend. They played Mississippi State and they won 24 to 14.
Yeah, won pretty handily. Same for you, Zaylin. Any teams, any players you like to watch on Saturdays or Sundays?
Well, I don't really sit down and watch the game, but after they're over, I go back and watch the highlights. I normally watch Alabama when they play, and whenever the Chiefs play, I watch Pat Mahomes.
Okay. So a big game for Alabama this weekend against LSU. Think Alabama pulls it out this weekend?
Well, I know if they play like they did last week, probably not. You got to start fast and finish strong. And they finished strong last week. They just didn't start fast.
Right, that's kind of been the tale of their season so far.
Yeah.
So certainly a big thanks for both of you for joining us. And by the way, what's as far as your dinner tonight? What did y'all choose from the menu?
I'm gonna seem fat, but I had 15 boneless wings and some fries.
Well, I would hope with an offensive lineman that you'd have an offensive lineman type of appetite. So good for you, man. Same question for you. What's on the dinner menu here for you tonight?
We both got the same thing, but I got the jumbo wings. We were going to get the 20 piece, but he got the 15, so I just got the 15.
There you go. There you go. Certainly, we wish you the best of luck this week and in the postseason. Aiden Stewart, Zaylen Stroud join us. A couple of Central Clay County volunteers joining us this week as they'll make the trip to Wetumpka to close out the 2023 regular season, but I imagine that they'll still have a whole lot more football to come in the postseason. So we'll go ahead and take this time out. We still have our FNN Player of the Week to award. We'll also hear from our buddy Coach Michael Shortt here in a moment as we continue on this evening, the final FNN Coaches Show in the month of October. Stay with us.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver Card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Griffin Laser Engraving in Lincoln is your authorized local dealer for personalized Yeti products. Get your Yeti customized for your team, a business, or a special event. Your color, graphics, even photos. At Griffin Laser Engraving, we make it the way you want it. Order just one or hundreds, and you'll find a full line of Yeti coolers and accessories on hand, even the hard-to-find items. Nationally recognized, but right here at home in Lincoln for quality awards, trophies, powder coating, and personalized Yeti items, Griffin Laser Engraving.
Family owned and operated for over 50 years, Miller Funeral Home is committed to providing families with the finest services for their loved ones, including our newest service, Aquamation. Aquamation is a gentle, respectful, and eco-friendly alternative to flame cremation. Miller Funeral Home is the only facility in the state of Alabama that offers the Aquamation service. Call us or visit our website today to learn more about how we can serve you and your loved ones.
And welcome back to our Tuesday night high school football coaches show. We're live at Strutt's Wings here in Oxford for week 10 of the regular season. One more show next Tuesday, and then, of course, we're on to the playoffs. And speaking of on to the playoffs, this young man to my immediate left had a lot to do with the Piedmont Bulldogs headed to the playoffs come November the 10th. He is our player of the week, Luke Reinhardt, senior for Coach Jonathan Miller. I understand Coach is out trick-or-treating as himself tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Can you imagine opening the door and there's Coach Miller, trick-or-treat? You know how he is. He is trick-or-treat. What was Friday night like for you?
That was one of the funnest games I've ever played in my life. You know, it was back and forth, not a lot of scoring going on, but it was hard nosed and it was a fun game, and especially at the end, it was a great game to be a part of.
Luke, you obviously are a senior on this team, so you know you've been through the championship runs and stuff like that. You know what that was like. How tough was the start of the season?
I mean, we got off to a really slow start, offensively and defensively. I mean, we weren't scoring and we weren't getting stops like we were used to, and the seniors obviously weren't used to that, but we knew if we just bought into the program and worked out kinks with each other, we would all just come together fine at the end of the season. Going into the playoffs, I think we're doing better together as a team.
I want to go back to Friday, though, as far as I know you mentioned how fun that game was for you. What made it such a fun game for you?
It was just – I always like physical games, and Hoax Bluff is a very physical team, and so are we. And I think just a lot of on the ground, you know, just back and forth, not a lot of one-sided affairs. I mean, it's just in the closeness of it, it just made it really fun.
And then you mentioned how slow of a start y'all had, albeit against a really tough schedule, not just start of the season, but really all throughout the season. How have you seen this team grow and gel over the course of the season?
We've really just come together. The defense has been strong. You know, we've had a really good run defense to start the season, and the DBs have just been incredible. getting better every week, and so is our run defense. We've just been incredible at just getting better, reading the game plan, and executing what we wanted to do that week. And offensively, I mean, we got off to a rough start the first 2 games, obviously, and then just getting to know the quarterback and the linemen and the receivers and all working together and having the playbook to be able to score on teams. It was just we've taken some big steps.
You know, I think another thing that people probably don't grasp like you and your other teammates do is, you know, Jack was there for so long. I mean, you know, normally a quarterback's tenure is 2 years and a few plays at best. That guy was around for like 5 seasons under center. Seeing him go and how that affects the way the offense performs, that had to be a tough pill to swallow, even though everybody knew it was coming.
Yes, sir. Jack was a great player. I mean, obviously he was a quarterback for 4 or 5 years, and he had all those, you know, records and everything.
Well, I mean, you know, you guys probably knew what he wanted you to do before you even had to do it. I mean, it was like if he went this way, you knew to go that way. Or
yes, sir. It's all about getting fit to your quarterback and the offense, and as long as you know that what they're going to do next is the same thing that you're going to do next, you can have chemistry there.
Luke, we said back in the start of the regular season, you know, we kind of expected Piedmont might have a slow start, but we've said all along this will be a dangerous team in November. Do you feel like you guys are poised to make a run?
Yes, sir. We're all locked in. That's the win this week is exactly what we needed to be hyped as anybody for the playoffs. And we know we've always felt we're Piedmont. You know, we're the team that nobody wants to play, and we just want to keep that.
And then as far as the Piedmont uniform, especially when y'all go on the road, what's it like as far as going in to an opposing environment when it comes to whether it's the opposing team seeing the Piedmont uniform, just kind of what's it like, especially to have all that tradition to go on the road each whenever y'all do go away from home?
There's a lot of pressure to win on the road. I don't think anybody really likes Piedmont or to play Piedmont, but we always want to go out there, represent, have good sportsmanship, and execute the game the way we want it to end.
Is there kind of a target on your back every time y'all step out on the football field?
Yes, sir, I think so.
I don't think there's any question about that. But the other thing I don't think there's any question about, Luke, is as long as there's time on that clock and you guys are within striking distance, there is no football team that I know of in this area that believes they can win like the Piedmont Bulldogs.
Yes, sir. We're going to try as hard as we can for 48 minutes every game, every Friday night.
Well, tell us a little bit about your buddies you brought with us. We're going to let James visit with them here in just a couple of minutes after we hand you the hardware. But who'd you bring with you tonight?
I brought with me my inside linebacker, Brody Holmesley, and an outside linebacker, Cale Austin, both very hard-nosed football players, and they get the job done.
All right, before we do the hardware, describe the last play, the 2-point conversion. What was your role, and how did you wind up with the football?
Well, we scored, and I was ecstatic because Hayes had been running the ball. Hayes Gunn, he's a beast. I mean, he's been running the ball great all night. And I'm expecting to kick a field goal, and then I hear everybody holding up twos, and I'm like, okay, we can win this game. Everybody's tired. We need to get this game. We need to shut it out right here. And then I'm expecting to go back to the huddle and hear a run play, and I'm surprised, and I'm sure Hoax Bluff was probably surprised too. That's probably the thinking behind it. To hear a pass coming to me, and I heard a pass call first, and I just realized that it was coming to me later, and I was like, uh-oh. So I was nervous, but I was ready to. I knew that.
So you were the play call. I mean, it was supposed to come to you.
Yes, sir. It was H to A, not a pick play, but slants out, and I mean, it was gonna work. It was just a matter of getting in the end zone, and we got it done.
Good deal. And you caught the ball. Do you realize, I mean, you're a young, senior student right now, but do you realize that years from now, people will talk about that moment?
I guess. I don't really know.
James, he doesn't have a clue, does he?
He will before long.
All right, young man. Well, here you go. Here's the crystal for this week. The FNN Player of the Week Award from Michelle Green at Realty Pros. And congratulations on picking that up, and hopefully you and your mom will find a nice spot for that in the house.
Thank you.
All right, good deal. Luke Reinhardt, our player of the week for week number 10 or week 9. Week 10 is next week. The week 0 thing messes everything up. But congratulations on the win. Sylacauga this week at home, and then, of course, J.B. Pennington, right?
Yes, sir.
On the road for round 1 of the playoffs. We'll visit with Luke's teammates when we continue from Strutt's Wings here in Oxford on the Friday Night Network.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Advantage Tire and Alignment on Highway 202 in Anniston is so much more than just a new tire and rim shop. There's not enough time in this ad to tell you all the many things they can do to help keep your car in tip-top shape. Advantage Tire uses ASE certified technicians, so you know any work done is top-notch. Bottom line, if it needs repaired or replaced, they can probably do the job and save you money. And when it comes time for new or used tires and rims, Advantage Tire and Alignment prices just can't be beat. Stop in and see Bruce and the crew today. Advantage Tire and Alignment.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Danny Shears, Carolyn Henderson, Terry Howell, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at Calhoun County. You'll be glad you did.
The FNN Coaches Show continues from Strutt's Wings here in Oxford. Our next to final edition for the 2023 season. This is the final week of the 2023 regular season, and postseason play just around the corner. In fact, this time next week, we will be getting ready for postseason football as far as our FNN High School Football Game of the Week, which, by the way, go ahead and get your NFHS subscriptions ready when it comes to the postseason. But we still have some more regular season football to go, as do the Piedmont Bulldogs, and we can continue to spotlight the Piedmont Bulldogs. It's been a very interesting season as far as powerhouse Piedmont. Of course, under first-year Coach Jonathan Miller, new quarterback, but one fixture thanks to their dramatic win over Oaks Bluff this past Friday. They're going to be back in the postseason once again. And we have Brody Holmesley off to my left and Cale Austin off to my right. Thank you both for joining us. Let's start with you, Brody. Just how exciting was that win? And take us into the locker room. How just turned up was the locker room, especially after that dramatic win?
Oh, well, we knew the game was on the line, and we knew if we didn't win, we weren't going to the playoffs. So, I mean, after Luke made that play, we was all help.
So Cale, it was a do-or-die moment then as far as that's individual play.
Yes, sir.
So how big of a win did it feel like in that locker room after the game?
It felt big because it was a do-or-die moment. We had to win to make the playoffs.
And then, Cale, obviously Piedmont coming into the season was one of the biggest stories in the state as far as Coach Jonathan Miller coming in, losing Jack Hayes, record-setting quarterback, leader, heart and soul really of the program. Just kind of take us as far as just how the journey this season has been for y'all.
Well, it's a big change coming from Coach Smith, but Cole Wilson stepped up for Jack's role.
Talk about how Cole has just been able to, grow in his role as quarterback this year.
Well, he really stepped up to the plate, and he just was really good at the passing, and we capitalized on that.
And talk about how, just as far as how you've grown yourself as far as your own game this year individually.
Well, it's a
fun ride with Coach Miller, and we're doing pretty good now.
And then same thing for you, Brody. Just kind of how have you seen your game evolve so far this year?
Oh, well, I've gotten stronger. Coach Miller's definitely gotten us in the weight room a lot, and I mean, I feel stronger, and I think we all do.
So you notice as far as just how stronger you've gotten over the last year.
Yes, sir.
Any other areas where you've seen improvement so far?
I feel like we've gotten a lot better, like just guarding people. I feel like we've improved a lot on the passing game, and I feel like Cole, he's stepped up a lot, and he's matured, and I feel like he's been a good leader for us.
Do you see this team growing as far as not only as far as your abilities, but also, I guess, the chemistry, not only as far as the players, but also the coaches as well?
Oh, yes, sir. I feel like we're going to just get better every week, and we meet the coaches, we meet Coach Miller, and we just keep building our chemistry, and I think we'll be fine.
And then, Brody, is there any other areas as far as where this team has really grown leaps and bounds since the start of the season?
I think we really our offense has really came along, and our defense has stood up, losing some of the defensive players we did last year.
Do y'all think you're playing your best football of the season now?
Yes, sir. I think we're about to hit the playoffs rolling.
And then as far as Brody, when it comes to this week, Sylacauga, normally a solid squad out of Class 5A, but obviously more importantly for y'all when it comes to the bigger picture, your postseason ticket's been punched. It's just kind of, how are y'all treating it this week as far as your final regular season week, but also what is the message as far as from Coach Miller and the coaching staff this week?
Well, since it's the next game, it's the most important game, so we're going to have our best week of practice, and we're going to try to get the win, and we're just going to keep it rolling into playoffs.
How confident is this team right now?
I feel like we're pretty confident. We know if we keep working our butts off, then we're going to be successful.
And then this is for both of you, and let's start with Cale. As far as just what's it like playing, as far as just the tradition that's been built over almost the last two decades now at Piedmont. What's it like to be able to at least help carry on that tradition of football excellence?
Well, we have a tradition of winning, and it feels like every time you go into a game, you're expected to win, and you ride off of that.
Now, I asked Luke about this prior to y'all coming on, but what's it like for y'all, especially that you have a target on your back each and every week going on the road as far as being a Piedmont Bulldog?
Well, it just, you got to step up to the plate, and you got to be ready to answer the call when you're there.
And then, Brody, how much of an honor is it to be able to play for a program like Piedmont?
Oh, it's a great honor because, I mean, they've won tons of state championships, and we don't want to be the group that is bad, so we don't want the community seeing us like that. So it's our job to keep it going and teach the younger kids how to win, do things the right way.
And then just kind of give us an understanding. Obviously, I mean, you see it on Saturdays with Alabama, especially under Nick Saban, as far as them building the type of success they have. And when they go on the road, really even when teams come to Tuscaloosa, that target's always on their back. Is it kind of similar for y'all as far as the high school ranks around our state when it comes to the Piedmont Bulldogs?
Oh, yes, sir, because they know we're a successful team. We know how to win, and, I mean, we're going to get everybody's best game.
Do you like playing that role?
Yes, sir, I do.
What makes it fun playing that role?
Well, we get everybody's best, and I feel like it makes us better, and it makes our team better for the playoffs.
And so, Cale, is there any sort of challenges just week in, week out, as far as just knowing you're going to get the opponent's best shot when it comes to preparing for your teams on the schedule each and every week?
Well, I think it really allows us to be ready for the playoffs because every team we play is the best of the best, so we're just getting ready to play.
So as far as the postseason, what are maybe some of you? What do you think are some of the keys as far as continuing the success y'all have had over the last few weeks in the regular season, being able to continue to build upon that for the postseason?
I think as long as we stay focused and we take it week by week, we'll do pretty good in the postseason.
Obviously, it's Halloween, so I think when Coach Miller's out trick-or-treating with the family. So I want to ask both of y'all this first, Brody, as far as, let's say, maybe as far as Halloween's past, was there any sort of candy you really liked getting in your Halloween bucket?
I'm going to be honest. I don't really ever remember going trick-or-treating as a kid.
Oh, interesting.
I think I maybe went once or twice, but I don't really eat that much candy. But I would have to say probably a Kit Kat.
Fair enough, Kale. Same for you. Is there any sort of candy you'd like to get as far as the trick-or-treating trail in your pass?
It's got to be Skittles.
What do you like about Skittles?
It's just the different flavors. Everyone's good.
Very good, very good. Oh, and speaking of food, as far as what's y'all's meal tonight?
I think we all got quesadillas.
I like the quesadillas too. That's in like a chicken, steak, in the.
We got the chicken.
Very good. What did you get?
I got steak.
Very, very, very nice. I think that's an underrated item on the menu here as far as Struts Wings is concerned.
Definitely.
Smart people, smart people. So certainly a big thanks for y'all for joining us. Brody Holmesley, Cale Austin, as the Piedmont Bulldogs still have one more regular season game to go when it comes to the Field of Champions on Friday against Sylacauga, and then they'll be at J.B. Pennington to begin another journey in the postseason. So certainly good luck to both of y'all, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We still have 30 more minutes to go here on the FNN Coaches Show, the final one in October and a Halloween special as far as the FNN Coaches Show. Stay with us.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now, these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the FNM Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
Family owned and operated for over 50 years, Miller Funeral Home is committed to providing families with the finest services for their loved ones, including our newest service, Aquamation. Aquamation is a gentle, respectful, and eco-friendly alternative to flame cremation. Miller Funeral Home is the only facility in the state of Alabama that offers the Aquamation service. Call us or visit our website today to learn more about how we can serve you and your loved ones.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Advantage Tire and Alignment on Highway 202 in Anniston is so much more than just a new tire and rim shop. There's not enough time in this ad to tell you all the many things they can do to help keep your car in tip-top shape. Advantage Tire uses ASE certified technicians, so you know any work done is top-notch. Bottom line, if it needs repaired or replaced, they can probably do the job and save you money. And when it comes time for new or used tires and rims, Advantage Tire and Alignment prices just can't be beat. Stop in and see Bruce and the crew today. Advantage Tire and Alignment.
That's what Welcome back to Struts, the Halloween edition of the Tuesday Night High School Football Coaches Show. Jim Jacobs, James Hardy, the voice of the game of the week, and to my right, the voice of high school football in general, all over this place, Coach Michael Shortt. How many different things are you doing now? I mean, I know you do the thing on Friday night with John Holder and Chad, and you're doing a radio show, right?
Well, we're actually not doing that right now. They're in the process of changing owners.
Oh,
I guess you would say. So
all right.
Hopefully we can get that going again for all those guys down in Clay County, and we really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I know you had told me you enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, I enjoy doing that a lot. So I guess the biggest thing right now is being a granddaddy and working and working with John on Friday night, because I really enjoy doing that because I go somewhere different. I've been all over the state. I've been to the Gulf Coast. You know, I went for a vacation. While I was there, I went and watched some people practice.
Right.
On the way back, stopped and watched some people practice. So I've been all over the place. You never know where I may show up on a Friday night or a Thursday or a Wednesday. You never know.
You're all over the place. I know that.
I am.
Yeah, you like and you seem to really enjoy going and doing those things.
I do, and it's keeping me busy at a tough time. It's keeping me busy, and I enjoy doing it.
Yeah, well, of course, for folks that don't know, and there's not many, I think, that don't, but Coach lost his wife earlier this year, and, having been through that myself, Coach, I know what it's like, and, our condolences on all that, and I'm glad to see you still chugging along.
Well, that's what she'd want. She'd
absolutely.
want me to keep chugging along.
Kick your butt.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Just like tonight, we gave out over 180 big candy bars. You know how much those things cost?
Wow.
We gave out a lot of candy.
And I understand you got a call. You still had takers, and the pumpkin was empty.
Yeah. I just hope they hadn't taken the pumpkin with them.
Before we get into the playoffs, let's go back to 01. Can we do that for a little bit?
Wow. Okay.
That was the year, right? 01?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because, I remember we were doing it with the radio station at the time. Had all the Cleveland County games.
We opened up our new stadium that year.
That's right. Wasn't it at the end of the year?
No, I remember we
or was it mid-year?
No, it wasn't mid-year. It was opening up. This is how I always remember it. It was the Friday night after 9/11 versus Alexandria on our 50th anniversary.
Wow.
How much more pressure could you have put on this young man at the time, to win a ball game?
Yeah. And obviously the games between Cleveland County and Alexandria back in those days were legendary. They were head knockers.
They were. There was we were just finishing up really for several years, the mid-90s.
Right.
we went. It was us and them and Dessler. Every year it was one of us is going to be in the semifinals 2-3 years in a row. And then we went to a couple years where we lulled out there, and then we were right back at it again. So, yeah, there's been some great games against Alexandria over the years. I guess I've got to coach against all the Gins and played against just about the only coaches that have been out there. Scales, I played against him and coached against both Gins. So it's always been, and there's a big mutual respect between Cleveland County and Alexandria.
Coach, a lot of times people – especially around the start of football season, somebody will put something on Facebook or Twitter or something about best high school player you ever saw. Was Pro the best you ever saw?
I've seen some good ones.
Was he the best that ever played for you?
Yes, because he had to do so much. We put him in so many different places. We've had a lot of great players over the years. A lot of great players. But he had to do so many things, that we had to rely on him to do a lot. And because of that, you probably put him in there in the mix as some of the greatest players. But as far as players I've seen, there may have been one more when I started in Georgia. The kid was from Central of Thomasville, and his name was Charlie Ward.
Charlie Ward.
That's a good one.
And for kids nowadays, they go, who? I said, well, guys, he went to Florida State, and he could punt. His first year, he punted, and then they started putting him back there and letting him play quarterback. Won the Heisman Trophy, and
played basketball too, didn't he?
Well, most of my kids would say, "Well, Coach, he won the Heisman Trophy. What NFL team did he play for?" I said, "He didn't. He spent 16 years with the Knicks.
Yep.
Played NBA basketball for 16 years. His daddy was a coach on that Central of Thomasville team. His daddy was also the basketball coach."
Well, let's talk about some of the great players you've seen in your time around our area. Of course, Matt Campbell's got to come to mind.
Yep. I always remember back when he played in that epic game we had over there in our place one night, and we played him game 10. We had areas that time, so you really ended up your last 8, 9, and 10 was your area ball games, and I think that year, golly, we were playing us in Mumford and Alexandria. All three of us were good enough to win it. And Matt Campbell took the opening kickoff and run it back for a touchdown at Heflin. And he hit the end zone and he shot a Heisman.
You knew it was going to be a long night.
I thought it was going to be a long night, but it just really upset our guys. And we ended up that night winning 32-7. But then we faced them again in the semifinals because we're all meeting each other and shaking hands. Every one of those players are telling us, "We'll see y'all in 4 weeks. We'll see y'all in 4 weeks." And you know what? We played in 4 weeks and won 6-0. 6-0. And you know what? That was in overtime. We scored in overtime.
Wow.
Todd was Coach Ginn now was playing
then.
He was playing then. And we had some prothos playing back then, too. We had a bunch of guys playing.
The championship game that year with UMS Wright.
Yes.
Were they better than Heflin, or did Heflin not have a good night?
They were
I mean, obviously they won.
Yeah, I would say more than anything, they were a veteran team coming back from the year before, because most of our guys were going, we probably should have got back the next year, but we had that car wreck and lost 3 of those kids for the season, and we got beaten in the semifinals by North Jackson at Heflin. And then North Jackson, oh, man, had the game won against them in the state finals in fumbles, and UMS Wright picks it up, goes down to the 1, and then scores with no time left to win 7-6.
Because you do this stuff as long as all of us have. You have just a handful of memories.
Yeah, I forget some of them, but I try to remember.
But for me, one of my most vivid memories is I remember thinking at halftime of that ball game at Legion Stadium, because we were obviously doing it on the radio for you.
Yeah.
I remember thinking at halftime, Heflin can win this game.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. I thought you guys could win.
I think the turning point in the ball game, if you remember, is they fumbled a punt, and about their 10-yard line. We get the ball there right before half, and if we scored, that would have been the first time all year they would have been behind at the half. That's a big deal.
Right.
And if you remember, and I still can remember looking at, they had it on the scoreboard, and the side judges, they're going to hold their hands up when they're ready, and they tell you got enough on the line of scrimmage. It's going to be here. It's going to be there, the different signals they do. And I'll never forget when they come walking over there to me, and they'd already waved off 2 flags already. Terry Curtis is on the other side, guys, from UMS Wright.
Oh, yeah.
And Terry's over there just screaming and hollering. I'm going, man, that's going to be the 3rd flag that this had against them. They waved it off. And I said, wait a minute, what do you mean waved it off? He said, well, anyway. They said that it was not enough men on the line of scrimmage. Us, and we was going to have to go back and punt it over because they, fumbled the punt. And I'm going, wait a minute, if you look and see right there it is. Look, right up there. There it is, frozen in time. And he said, no, we're not going to wave it off.
Yeah. Is that one of them times you worked that visor over?
It had a permanent bend in it where I broke it right there. And but you know what? We didn't make enough plays. They have been there before, because when you talk about getting to the finals, a lot of times you see these teams, man, they've got a great team this year, but they've never been real far in the playoffs before. It's a process having to get there. Danny Horn can tell you about it. It's a process of getting there, and being in those big games before, and driving long road trips and those things. Look, here's where I knew things were going to get bad. We're on I-20, and we're out there in Malfunction Junction, whatever you want to call that over there, trying to get through the traffic, and we're completely stopped. And I'm thinking, we're not even going to make it to Legion Field. And all of a sudden, I look to my left, and I see a line of lights flashing. And I see state trooper, state trooper, state trooper, state trooper. 5 police cars went by, and then I see 3 buses, UMS Wright, UMS Wright, UMS Wright. And we're stuck, and they're going right by. They've got everything stopped and blocked off for them. I said, oh, guys, this is not good.
That leads to a great question, Coach. Do you have to go there and experience it? I won't say lose it, but I'll say experience it before you really get good at it.
Yes, because there's so much. Even today now,
yeah.
I call some of these coaches, and they haven't been there before. I said, what you got to prepare for is that extra time in between kickoffs and scores. When Santa Claus walks out there with his hat on, you're waiting another minute and a half. And I said, you're going to be embarrassed when you send your team out there, and the other team that's been there before, they're still there with their coach talking, and your guys are out there lined up ready to kick or receive, and you're just standing there looking stupid. I said, so you got to be ready for stuff like that. I didn't realize it. If you've never been to a game, but as you're there watching it, you don't recognize that stuff. You don't realize all the extra stuff you got to do that week as a coach, all the meetings with the media and the pictures you got to take. It is a lot. It starts with the semifinals.
I talked with Coach Smith about this because obviously he's been a lot.
That's right.
He said that the preliminary stuff that you have to go through,
Unbelievable.
It's like a laundry list of things that you have to submit and photos and this and that and the other. And
to go up on the big screen.
yeah,
now.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you got to have a pretty picture to go up there. And if it's not a good one, they say, "Because it's not good enough." I said, "Well, I got 30 minutes. Get it here," because they demand it to be there on time.
Yeah.
So it's different, and they've even made it more and more. Coaches even have to do more and more now.
Yeah, because now TV's such a big part of it.
Yes, sir, it is. And they got the walkthroughs. And you have to decide if your kid's ever been somewhere and spent the night before a ball game, and now all of a sudden you decide you're going to. That's a nightmare. I mean, I'm telling you, and that's why if I just had to go to Birmingham, we're going to drive in. We're going to stay in our bed tonight, and the kids, if they're if they're mature enough, they know what they got to do. They're going to get in bed. But there's some places and some schools that do it like they do at college, and they go stay somewhere. And I'm all for that too. If you had the money to do it.
So as far as maybe some of the opposing coaches you faced in your past, when it comes to the postseason, who were some of the best coaches when it came to coaching their teams in the postseason?
Jamie Riggs at T.R. Miller and Terry Curtis at UMS Wright.
What made them so good?
They had been there so much, and they were prepared for everything that could happen to you. I know Terry Curtis got me the first time we ever played. He went over there and held his people off, and I thought, surely he's not going to go for it on fourth down. He waited and waited and waited and waited. I had to call timeout. He just laughed. He just over there grinning at me. So I got you. He just wasted that timeout. Then he put his kicking team out there. He had his offense. I said, surely he's not going to go for it on fourth down. But he knew, I had to do something because he can run his out there. Because his offense was his kicking game, too. So yeah. I had to sub people in. So he got me on that one. Those type of things. But real quickly, John Mothershed at Dessler. He was a good one. Oh, God. And there's several, but those three right there.
Dessler was a real thorn in your side, too, weren't they?
They beat us once at Heflin, to be honest with you. Yeah, there was some great games with Dessler, too, all the way up there and all the way to our place. Yes. Fayette County, Walden Tucker. I'm saying some old school people now.
Yeah.
We faced Fayette County. Actually, I coached Tandy Geralds. Remember him at Dessler?
Mm-hmm.
I coached against him in his final game, Fayette County. In one of his final games, they went one more week the next week and got beat. But he eventually came back, Walden Tucker. But I got to be I was privileged to coach against a lot of Danny Horn. When Danny's been a head coach forever. He was like come out of college, head coach. But I coached against Danny, when he was at Clay County. Golly, Coach Giddens.
Yep.
Was it Limeville?
Yep.
And
talking about Steve.
Yeah, talking about Steve, but then before
and
him.
I remember that was another vivid memory I have about your stuff is, we start the year like really highly ranked, very much anticipated to be in the hunt, and
Clay County or Lineville.
Yep, and go down to Lineville and get spanked.
Oh God, we went down there one night, and I don't know if you remember when Keith Howard died at Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Keith had already taught me we're going to do the field when we got our new field. We're going to open it up. I need you to play on Thursday night. But that was going to be week 2. I said, I've already got to play Steve Giddens in Lineville on Thursday night, week 1. Because, Giddens taught me into it. He said, Coach, it's supposed to rain like crazy tomorrow night. I don't want to ruin my field. Can we play on Thursday night? I said, okay, I will, because I got to do it the next week too. It rained 2 inches that night at Lineville on Thursday night. It rained 2 inches, and Lord have mercy, they beat us into submission that night. I told my quarterback.
It was ugly. I do remember that.
Oh, yes, and I told my quarterback he transferred in, and he'd been in 2A ball all that life. I said, welcome to 4A football. Yeah. You just got beat. But every year we played Lineville or Clay County, you knew if you could compete with them, that you could compete with anybody else in your region. Their kids knew how to play both ways. Some people don't.
All right, for somebody who's been around the game forever, what's good about it right now and what's bad about it right now?
I think kids are bigger, faster, and stronger than they've ever been. I think that nutrition and all the things they can do, they got their personal trainers and stuff. I think those kids are better. I think the game, the speed of the game is a lot faster, and I think a lot of that is people are using their speed, so you see it more. The game's more wide open. It's all spread out. But I do not like the constant movement of players. I understand when a parent says, I'm doing this for the best of my kid. That last week, 2 weeks ago, when the kid leaves, Spain Park.
Right.
And I heard somebody say, well, this kid did the right thing. His family's doing the right thing for him to get him more exposure. How many more offers do you need? He's got 28 Power 5 offers. He's a 4.5 star. Let's put it that way. How much more does he need? It's one thing if you're on one side of the state and your parents get a job and you move. That's a different thing. But when you move 10 minutes and you're going to play Hoover twice, I can't get that. And I also know, because I've studied it in our radio show we did, I knew when NIL, I did a special on it, and I knew when Tennessee voted in, I said, Georgia's next. And they voted in October. We won't have a choice. We will have to go to high school NIL. I do not like that. And it's when it happens, what you'll see when our state votes on it, and we'll vote it once some guy from a Thompson or a Hoover or somebody like that crosses the state line. And don't think it don't happen. Look at Buford's quarterback. He comes from Texas. Why is he there? Because Kirby Smart said, I need you closer. So they already had a 3-star quarterback. He sits on the bench now because the best quarterback in the country is there.
As far as high school NIL in Alabama, when do you think that happens? Could it be next year?
No, I think it'll be within 4 years. Something's big got to happen. Somebody's got to make a transfer to make it happen. And when it happens, it'll be the state has to do it. It'll be legislators and congressmen. And some congressmen will be in a town like Thompson or somewhere, and they've lost the players. Wait a minute, we got to bring this forward. It passes. But I think what you'll see that'll go along with it will be open enrollment. And then everybody will go wherever they want.
What's that going to do to the smaller schools?
Tear them up.
I mean, so basically all the cream is going to rise to the top.
Yeah, and we'll still have. I mean, there'll still be games. It's not going to be gone. It just will be if someone has a great player. I mean, they may be able to take them out. Move them somewhere. But it's not going to be everybody. I just don't like the thought process of it. I mean, it's still something about. Aren't you, when you play high school football, you're there to learn and to learn the values of hard work and dedication and being a part of your team. And, of course, the average fan will say, well, your coaches can move whenever you want to. I spent 21 years as a head coach and never left. I finally just got physically sick and retired. But I just think it's not the right way for us to be going, because it's not, paying. I'm not even going to mention it, but that quarterback in Carrollton, Georgia is making a lot of money now to be a high school quarterback in the 10th grade.
You want to talk about Gulf Shores a minute? What's going to happen?
What? Who?
It's been all over the news. Investigative reports, TV station down in Mobile got all over them. Said the AHSAA was coming in to investigate. To me, that doesn't mean a whole lot.
No.
If it's true, I don't like it, but I'm smart enough to know that that's not the only place that it's going on.
It's easy for people to say that private schools do all the recruiting. They're not.
No, exactly.
It goes on. Some type of recruiting goes on everywhere, and a lot of times, if a program just does everything they can to make their program good, it recruits itself a lot of times.
Right.
And I think sometimes people want to get there so fast that they're tempted to maybe use people in the community to get kids there. But you still got to be able to – the burden of proof is on you to prove that somebody within that school system forced those kids – didn't force them, got them there.
Enticed them. Brought them in.
However you want to say that. Yeah.
Enticed them.
And I don't like it. But, things move in. I mean, I have had kids move in, and it was good for us. And I've had kids move out, and it hurt us. So, I've seen both sides. I mean, it has. It helped us.
Well, I'm sure the clock's catching up with us, Coach. So let's talk playoffs real quick. Who you like in 7A?
Oh, ain't but one. And it's not Auburn. It's not Thompson.
Yeah, and there's our local matchups projected at this point up on the screen.
Central Phoenix City. You want me to go ahead and say it?
Yeah.
That's who I would say. Yes.
Are they that much above Thompson at this point?
Well, I would say yes, but how many more is Thompson going to get in the next couple of weeks to get there?
I hear you.
It won't be the same. It'll be a great ball game. It always is.
Is 6A basically Saraland and Clay Chalkville?
Well, if you look at both of them, yeah. I mean, they both are just loaded with 4- and 5-star guys. They both got great coaching staffs. 6A probably is the one classification that has 7 or 8 teams that possibly could win it. Some of them, you got the cream of the crop, but then you got some that's rising up there to it. So I really like 6A and their classification. There's some really good football there.
That leads me to one question I'll get you to give us a quick answer on. In basketball, we talk a lot about how teams match up with one another.
Yes.
Okay. Is that true in football as well?
Very much so, where you have to go play. This is what is different now, is when you get a team, especially when we start getting maybe in some of our lower classifications, there are some 1As and 2As and 3As out there that have turf fields and flashing lights and everything. All of a sudden your kid goes and plays on them, that is a completely different surface to play on. Or your kid plays on turf all the time. Then he goes and gets on natural grass. That is different for him to do. So, those are things in rain. You never know. Here's a big one is like these 4A schools right here, they're in the South. Take a team from Montgomery. Take a team from Mobile and have to come here in the playoffs, and it's 35 degrees. It's not 35 in Mobile.
No.
That is a big difference. We played when we played T.R. Miller that year, we played in Alexandria in 37 degrees. The next week it's 78 down in Bruton, Alabama. Well, we were sweating and used to, it's different. So, those matchups where you have to play at, that has a big deal.
Who do you like in 4A? Of course, 4A North, everybody says Cherokee County's in a class by themselves. I tend to agree with that.
Yeah.
But 4A South is, it's a crapshoot.
There's 5. There's 5 teams that's got a chance to win it. On any given night, there's 5 teams that have a chance to win it. They may be 2 that most people think, and I've seen them on film, but, Hanley's as good as anybody. Jacksonville's quarterback can give you a chance against anybody.
Yep. All world.
The thing with Jacksonville is, and they've got so much better on their offensive line. They had to replace all 5
everybody.
of them.
Yep.
Coach Strain at Hanley, he didn't have to replace anybody. That's where his strength is at, is his offensive and defensive line. So Jackson is playing at a high level. Catholic proved last week that they're playing at a high level. Ask Andalusia and some of the things they've played and what they've done to them. Catholic is there. Like I said, Jackson is just one of those years now because Jackson's got some players. If you can find the place, if you got to drive down, if you can find it, you're going to see some good football players. 4A is going to be interesting to see in the South who's actually going to come out of it.
I have said, Coach, that if Cherokee County does get there out of the North, their advantage is whoever they play is going to be so beat up.
Yes.
To just have gotten there. But
you always got a chance in a game like that. You got a chance to get there. But some of those teams are playing, they have to play above their head every week just to get there. And I'm telling you, that's hard to do 5 weeks in a row.
Absolutely. All right, who you like in 3A?
It's there's about, again, I'm fixed to say this again, there's 4 down there on one highway. If you go 3A, you got to look in Montgomery and Mobile.
Right.
And see what private schools coming out of there.
It's in the South.
Yeah, and it's what private schools coming out of there. I think there's some very solid football teams in the North, probably more solid top to bottom in the North than they have been. There's some very good football teams in the North. But your skill players, very fast skill players and fast defensive players may be coming out of the South this time in 3A.
What about 2A? Are we looking at B.B. Comer and Fife again?
Fife, probably yes, just because they're so used to being there and got some great players, and Coach does a great job. But I'm going to tell you what, 2A South, don't forget there's a team called Realtown.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And, and they're good.
They're very good.
And did you see the Highland home game last week? Mm-hmm. That score wasn't no blowout. So, they could be back in it. So there's probably 2 or 3 teams that they're going to have to play. They got a gauntlet. And what's sad is Realtown and Comer may have to play week 2.
Wow.
Week 2. And it's probably a semifinal type game, and they're going to have to play in week 2. That's what's sad when it comes to that. That's why I wish they did like they did in Georgia. We don't have a North Alabama champion, a South Alabama champion. They're probably fixing to shoot me right now, coaches are. we need to just have the best 2 playing for a state championship.
God,
game.
I wish there was a way we could make that happen.
It can happen, but it's not going to happen this state.
I've preached it for years. I wished it could happen. Coach, we could talk football for 3 hours and never slow down. Thank you so much for finally making time for us. Glad to have you. Glad you could break bread with us, and we'll see you along the road to the playoffs.
Well, I appreciate what y'all do for high school football. I really do.
Thank you, sir. All right, for James Hardy, see you Thursday, my man.
You got it.
Coach Michael Shortt, Jim Jacobs bidding you a farewell and happy Halloween from Strutt's Wings in Oxford. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Tuesday Night High School Football Coaches Show. Good night, everybody.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Two of the top teams in the state of Alabama in Class 5A square off. It's the final week of region play across the Yellowhammer State as number 5 Southside makes the trip down to St. Clair County to face number 8 Moody for our FNN High School Football Game of the Week. It's our second annual Battle of the Belt, presented tonight by Southeastern Utility Services, as we wish you a happy Friday and, of course, a happy game day from Bill Morris Stadium here in Moody, Alabama, just in the shadows of the campus of Moody High School. James Hardy with you as we kick off our S&H Waterproofing and Construction Countdown Kickoff. James Hardy with you, along with Coach Eddie Bullock and our FNN crew with us on this very balmy but comfortable Friday evening. And Eddie, first off, a happy Friday. And this is a big game that should pit as far as a couple of outstanding teams coached by a couple of young, bright, up-and-coming coaches in this state.
Right. It's a huge game with huge implications, so I'm looking forward to seeing what takes place.
And when you look at those implications, Eddie, first for Southside, this is an opportunity. They're still undefeated in region play as they come in at 7-1 overall, 5-0 in region play. Moody at 7-2 overall, 4-1. In region play for Moody. This is their final game of the regular season as well, their senior night. But for Southside, it's an opportunity with a win to clinch their sole possession of Class 5A Region 6 and what would be their first region championship since 2014.
Almost 10 years, and you got two different things going on. You got Southside, which has an incentive to play to win that region, and then you have Moody, of course, having senior night. So, that's added motivation for them. So, we're going to be in for some great football tonight.
And when you look at great football for both of these teams, you look at two of the top running backs in the state of Alabama. For Southside, Mason Teague, and then Blaine Burke, who's a home run threat, according to second-year coach Jake Gaines for Moody.
Absolutely. You got two guys that I think are home run threats.
And when we look at our keys to victory later on in our countdown to kickoff, we'll tell you as far as how big both of those players are. But you look across the state of Alabama at these two teams, number 5 Southside, number 8 Moody. As we mentioned, Moody 7-2 overall, 4-1 in Class 5A Region 6 for their Southside, 7-1. They've won 7 in a row after losing their season opener to Guntersville, and they've been one of the most resilient teams, Eddie, facing a lot of injuries, including their star quarterback Gage Neesmith in just the second week of the season, but they have been outstanding as a team all the way around on both offense, defense, and special teams this year.
Well, I think with losing Neesmith, they sort of bonded together, and they found an identity, and they found it very quickly. So, hats off to Coach for, rallying the troops together and keeping them going in the face of adversity.
Now, this is just the 4th all-time meeting between these two teams, as Southside lost against Moody at home up in Etowah County 35-13 last season. This series began in 2012, so just a very recent series between these two teams, so should be a rock-solid ball game, kind of a preview of things to come possibly for both of these teams in the postseason. Southside and Moody will get a solid seed no matter what happens tonight. And Southside, even if they lose tonight, looks as if that they will get a first-round home game in a couple of weeks. And Moody needs a little bit of help. They certainly need to win tonight, and it would likely have to have Leeds lose to Lincoln as well if they want to have a first-round home game in the postseason. So should have some good teams in the postseason as far as those top 3 seeds in Class 5A, Region 6. And we saw a couple of really solid squads in Class 6A last week as far as our FNN High School Football Game of the Week. And number 2, Clay Chalkville certainly put on a show over at Lamar Field in Oxford last week. Give up the middle. Osley stretches for the end zone, and he's in for the touchdown. Pressure coming, throws over the middle, and that is complete at midfield for the first down and more, as that is a huge play for Clay Chalkville to keep that. They said that was shy of the first down, a fumble on the play, and Oxford says they have it. Rush comes, and that is that's blocked. So it'll be Oxford picking it up, and Clay Chalkville coming up with a huge special teams play. Throws toward the end zone and caught for the touchdown. Chambers now in at running back as he plunges up the middle and into the end zone for the touchdown. And Bakwe loads it up and throws down the field, and that's intercepted in the end zone. And made the throw over the middle and into the end zone for the touchdown for Nick Richardson. Play give to Wilson. Big running room and the first down and more, as he advances forward all the way to about the 45-yard line. Play action for Mims. Under pressure, wrapped up, and slammed down, in fact. Throw to the end zone for Richardson for the touchdown.
Highway 59. There's a place we call home. A place where you can raise a family, start a business, or enjoy a lazy summer day on the river. It's a place with a small town feel and big town opportunities. Welcome to Rainbow City. Just a short drive from Birmingham, Chattanooga, or Huntsville. Rainbow City is a growing community where everyone is family. So welcome to Rainbow City. Come grow with us.
The Food Barn in Raglan offers the best in good old-fashioned hometown service when you're shopping for groceries, plus the latest ways to get great food specials your way. Click on RaglanFoodBarn.com. Follow the Food Barn on Facebook and listen to the River for weekly specials,
where you can get everything you need from down on the farm and it won't cost you a leg or an arm.
And they're open 7 days a week. For the best cuts on quality meats, great service, and great prices, it's the Food Barn in Raglan.
It's game day, and from all of us at Bucks Island,
from the Loft Tackle Store,
from the team in service,
from the team in parts,
from the sales team,
from the Bucks Island family, good luck and go get them, boys.
Treating our customers the way we want to be treated since 1948. BucksIsland.com or call 1-800-I'm-READY. Let our team help you win on the water.
That Joe Biden and Hunter Biden were paid $10 million in bribes.
The floodgates are literally open here.
Mike Rogers is standing up to crooked Joe Biden in D.C. Mike Rogers is our way of fighting back.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now, these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the FNN Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnn.bank. Member FDIC.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Danny Shears, Carolyn Henderson, Terry Howell, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at Calhoun County. You'll be glad you did.
Our countdown to kickoff brought to you by SNH Waterproofing and Construction rolls on as Southeastern Utility Services brings you our FNN High School football game of the week. And there you see our countdown to kickoff, a big one between number 5 Southside and number 8 Moody for a Class 5A Region 6 championship. But as we bring Jim Jacobs in to our telecast, a lot of big ones in the final region week of the 2023 season.
Boy, you guys aren't kidding. I mean, a lot of great games, Coach, tonight that are it's going to have some big implications.
Absolutely correct. Just looking forward to seeing the outcome about 9:30.
All right, well, let's get started. We don't need to hold back anything. Here's the first one, Ragland at Spring Garden. Playoff implications in this one, Coach. We saw Ragland earlier this season. I think Spring Garden has improved over the season. What are your thoughts?
I think they really have improved. And, Jim, I looked at this game. I've been contemplating this game all week. I was looking over the matchups this week, and I just got a feeling Spring Garden is going to pull this game out at home. You said go Garden, go. I just think they're going to pull it out. I know they started off kind of rough, but I think they're going to pull it out.
Yeah, let's go short and sweet on this one. G.
That's right.
Yeah, going Spring Garden here as well.
All right, next up, this one's an interesting football game. This even has playoff implication possibilities. Some crazy things would have to happen for Weaver to get in. Childersburg seems to be in the driver's seat, but Beulah, Coach, coming to Bearcat Stadium tonight over there at Weaver High School. What do you think?
I think, Beulah's, they have some, I guess, something to try to play for right there, and I think Weaver has some implications, but I don't know. This kind of a toss-up for me right now, and I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with the Bearcats at home.
Both vastly improved teams. Weaver, one of the most improved teams in our area this season. And they've been competitive in almost every game this year, and I like them to win tonight as well at home.
Yeah, I like what Ken Kofer's got going over at Weaver, and I like the Bearcats to pick up the W tonight as well. Next up on our big ones, here's a good one, Vincent and Thorsby. And, Coach, if I'm not mistaken, this is for second and third in that region, right behind B.B. Comer.
And I think that's something that you have to play for, something that you want to try to get that first game at home. So with that being said, I believe Thornsby's at home, right?
That's right.
And I believe I'm going to go with Thornsby at home.
Yeah. You like Thorsby, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thorsby at home, says Coach Bullock. I think I kind of like Vincent in this one, guys.
I think I'm with you, Jim, on that. I like Vincent as well, as it appears we're getting close to the national anthem.
All right, well, we will pick that up and have that for you right here on the FNN Game of the Week.
I pray for a fair game between our two teams, Lord. I pray that you give us the courage to play this game with our words and actions pleasing to you, Lord. And I pray for a speedy recovery for one of our cheerleaders, Peyton Myers, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Morris Stadium here on the campus, or at least just at the shadows of the campus of Moody High School. James Hardy, Coach Eddie Bullock, and Jim Jacobs with you as we resume our look at some big ones across our area of the Yellowhammer State.
All right, let's see if we can get the next one up here. Let's see, we looked at that one. Let's look at this one. Boy, Coach, how about this? Hoax Bluff and Piedmont. If Hoax Bluff wins, they are a solid number 3 in the region. If Ohatchee, which we'll look at in a minute, wins, Piedmont is out. If Piedmont wins, they could finish as high as 3rd, depending upon what happens with Ohatchee tonight at Plainview. Now, with all that complicated stuff out of the way, Coach, who you got?
Well, this is a tough game for me right here. Piedmont is playing tough, but I've seen Hoax Bluff play, and I just don't know if Piedmont can pull that game out at home with what Hoax Bluff is going in there with. So I'm kind of leaning toward Hoax Bluff on the road.
I think the reason I'm leaning toward Hoax Bluff tonight is there's so many opportunities you get to go into the Field of Champions and win if you're Hoax Bluff, and they have to take advantage tonight, and I think they do.
Yeah, I like the Eagles in this one against the Bulldogs tonight, and it could be sayonara playoffs in year 1 for Jonathan Miller. Here's a game that has a little bit of an implication. I don't really see this game as being very close, but Anniston heads over to L.E. Bell Field tonight, Coach, to take on the Tigers.
And I'll just say Anniston.
Yeah, same here.
Good enough. I'm with you guys. I like the Bulldogs in that one as well. All right, here's a good one. Center Point at Oxford. Coach, I got to tell you, the Jackets didn't do nothing for me last week.
No, they didn't. I think they kind of – I thought they would, Clay Chalkville is a machine, but Oxford didn't really look bad. But, hey, I'm going with the hometown team this time, the Calhoun County. I'm going with the Yellow Jackets.
Staying with the Jackets. What do you think, James?
I'm saying this is an opportunity to bounce back, and Oxford needs to bounce back, and they will.
And this would give them second place and a hosting position come November 10th to get the playoffs underway in Class 6A. All right, here's a challenging one tonight. Two teams that have not won a game this season between them, Talladega and Alexandria. Something's got to give, Coach. Will the Ghost come through?
The Ghost has to come through. It will be an uproar if Alexandria does not defeat Talladega tonight, so I'm going with Alexandria Valley Cubs all the way.
And this is the season finale for Alexandria and a statement opportunity for Talladega, but I think Alexandria gets it done tonight.
Alexandria has never, ever in the history of the program had an 0-10 season. And, Coach, it ain't happening this year either.
Absolutely.
I like the Valley Cubs, Todd Ginn and his crew. All right, we talked about this game a little bit earlier. Ohatchee and Plainview tonight. Ohatchee on the road. I understand that Jesse Baswell plays in this game, and because of that, I like the Tribe.
And I'm with you, Tribe, all the way. The Creek Bank Tribe.
Must win for Ohatchee tonight, and they get it done as well.
Boy, they kind of were in this same boat last year and came through, so we like Ohatchee in the ball game. All right, up next, here's one that has playoff implications as well. Guntersville on the road at Sardis to take on the Lions.
Yeah, solid season for both teams. Sardis almost kind of really a newcomer as far as being able to be a playoff contender, but I like Guntersville tonight.
Well, I'm sort of with you. I think Guntersville probably got a little bit more, I want to say, experience, within this season right here. So I'm leaning toward Guntersville as well.
All right, now I kind of like Guntersville in this one as well. And, of course, that gets us to the reason we are on the road tonight at the Bill. And there it is right there in front of you. Moody and Southside for all the marbles, guys. Class 5A Region 6 championship on the line. Southside can win it outright. If the Blue Devils upset them tonight, they will basically create a three-way tie that really kind of is already settled for the most part. Some crazy things could happen when you get down into the tiebreaker, James, but this looks like a Southside Moody matchup that ought to be a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. And you look at Southside's record last year. In fact, the 5-6 mark was their record the last 2 years. So it's been an outstanding, one of the best coaching jobs in the state of Alabama this season, considering the numerous injuries that Miles Holcomb's Southside Panthers have gone through to get to this point where they have an opportunity to go undefeated and clinch a sole possession of their first region championship since 2014, as we already have the game captains coming up for the Southside Panthers. They've actually already concluded their home schedule this season with a 49-21 win at home against Alexandria last week, and they have one more regular season game next week at rival Etowah. There you see Gage Neesmith along with Titan Rich and Brody McCutcheon along with Jake Stewart as the quartet of captains for the Southside Panthers. We're getting ready for our captains meeting and the toss of the coin as our SNH waterproofing and construction countdown to kickoff rolls on, with about 9 minutes or so until these two teams kick off, Moody and Southside, for the final time in region play in 2023. Both teams will be heading to the postseason no matter what happens tonight. If the season ended right now, Moody would have to go on the road because they're on the short end of a tiebreaker thanks to the 24-21 loss that the Blue Devils had at Leeds across I-20 on Highway 411 last week. In fact, that was a game, Eddie, that it was tied 21 late in the fourth quarter. Moody had a fumble inside their own 25. Leeds recovered and ultimately got the game-winning kick. And then right after that, Moody was able to drive the field only to have their game-tying attempt at a field goal blocked to end the game.
Well, and there's a lot of marbles, at stake in this particular game, and if you remember just a year ago, Southside was trying to convince their guys, that they could play at home where, they did a tremendous job on the road. So, this game being able to win the region on the road falls right into their hand because, they got that mentality that they play better on the road. And, of course, Moody has a lot of emotions involved, so it's going to be a bun burner tonight.
So there you see the captains for tonight for the Moody Blue Devils, as you have A.J. Madison, Jacob Hadaway, Aiden Robinson, and Charlie Kitts. And take note as well that for Moody, they will be featuring players with duplicate numbers. Now, of course, one of those, as far as the duplicate numbers, will be on offense and the other on defense as well. And the Moody Blue Devils come in a rock-solid 7-2 on the season, as they were second in Class 5A Region 6 to Leeds a season ago in Coach Jake Gaines's debut campaign here at Moody High School. So the two captains, or at least the captains for the two teams, about ready to go to midfield as the Southside Panthers with one of their best seasons in the last decade, 7-1 overall, and right now undefeated in Class 5A Region 6. A win would give them sole possession of the region championship as our captains make their way to midfield. And we will have the meeting of the captains and our coin toss to see who gets the ball first tonight.
She's a young Janet Jackson. I can even really look at mama, you're dead wrong. For having them pants on, Caprice cut low, so when you shake it, I see it gone. My pockets full of dough, shaking feathers to the moon. And it's bad boy, and Nelly, man, somebody better phone him. Shake it to the floor. Take it low.
And there you see that the Southside Panthers win the toss, and they elect to defer their option to the second half. So Moody will take the football to begin tonight's final region game of the season, and let's go ahead and take a look at some of our keys to victory. And Eddie, we talked about it right at the very top of this telecast. You have two of the top running backs in the state of Alabama, and obviously who can establish their running game will be critical tonight.
Absolutely, and that's for both teams. Both teams going to have to make sure they establish, and of course with them being running teams, you know, that's going to be a factor. And hey, I mentioned emotions earlier as we were waiting on the coin toss. Moody got a police escort, one of my old friends, Jeff Smith tactics. They got a police escort out to the parking lot, and all of their football players has just entered the stadium. So it's going to be interesting. I know they amped up.
And you talked about the emotions, and it certainly would help their emotions to get off to a good start tonight.
Absolutely, and they're doing everything to play into those emotions.
And you know, in a big game, Eddie, special teams and a great kicker can mean the difference between winning and losing. For Southside, they have one of the top kickers in Class 5A in Caleb Ogle.
Absolutely. So, hey, I'm getting excited. When I saw the police escort, I got excited.
And we have a fireworks show as far as to get us started as Moody and Southside make their way out onto the playing surface here at Bill Morris Stadium. Southeastern Utility Services presents to you our FNN High School football game of the week as we're about ready to get things started, as we're about a week away from closing out the 2023 regular season. These two teams certainly have promising futures as far as their postseason hopes in Class 5A. Metro Bank will bring you our kickoffs for this evening, located on Highway 77, 2325 Highway 77 and Southside. And their number at 256-456-0099. So Metro Bank brings you our kickoffs for this region clash, an opportunity for Southside to try and take sole possession of the 5A Region 6 championship. And Moody wants to at least claim a share if they can pull off the victory tonight. McMichael Waste brings you our first quarter, as it'll be Caleb Ogle set to kick things off for the Southside Panthers. We're actually located on the visiting side of the field tonight, opposite the press box. A little unusual for us, but a good, solid vantage point from the visiting stands this evening, as we're right behind the Southside bench. And it'll be the Moody Blue Devils in their navy blue tops and bottoms set to receive.
Hey, I think we got the second best view. The best view is on the 50, and we on the 40.
A.J. Madison, one of the deep returners for Moody, awaiting the return. End over end kick, and that'll be fielded about the 6-yard line. Solid blocking off to the far side, as the tackle by Southside will be made around the 30-yard line. It was K.D. Barnes on the opening kickoff return for Moody, as the Blue Devils will have possession, first down and 10. And Charlie Johnson, a prototypical drop-back passer at 6'5", 175 pounds, a transfer from Mountain Brook. The junior will call the signals for Moody as we take a look at the starters presented by Congressman Mike Rogers. Blaine Burke will be the running back. Josiah Dozier, Jacob Hadaway, Charlie Kitts, and Aiden Robinson, your receivers. There's Hadaway in motion. Snap, and the counter give goes to Burke. Up the middle, has room, breaks the tackle, has the first down as he crosses the 40 to the 42-yard line. Very solid run on first down to open this game in on-time fashion's first down. So it'll be the Moody offense out of the huddle. In fact, no huddle very quickly. Huckabee, Caden Smith, Tyler Cruz, Logan Hall, and Jonathan Myers, the offensive line from left tackle to right tackle for Moody.
Well, James, I saw a couple of pancakes on that first play right there, so looked like Moody sending a message.
Quick throw to the far side for Burke, complete. A bubble screen pass, gets a solid gain and a lot more, as it'll be Burke taken down into Southside territory for another on-time fashion's first down. A second look, just a simple little bubble screen pass, and good blocking and great patience by Burke to let his blocks develop. So a first down as D&G Roofing brings you all of our replays this evening. Michael Waste, with our first quarter coverage. Drive began around the 30-yard line and the ball at the 40 of Southside. Delay give goes to Burke, and he's tripped up and taken down right at the line of scrimmage. Blake Phillips helping out on the tackle for Southside. Phillips, one of the linebackers, and we'll take another D&G Roofing second look at that solid tackle by Southside.
Well, it's just the outside linebacker right there coming in, making that play right there. You got two of them on him, and they played it perfect.
Titan Rich also helping out on the tackle for Southside. A couple of those linebackers. Second down, and 9 yards to go after a 1-yard gain. Give goes to Burke. He stood up and falls forward for about a yard or so. Looking at the rest of the Southside defense, Cameron Flowers and Javante Strong, the defensive ends. Grant Golden, the nose tackle. Mason Stevens and Titan Rich, the inside linebackers. Braden Bowers moving to outside linebacker with Cooper Horton's departure due to an ACL injury, and Blake Phillips, the other linebacker. Brody Burnett, Silas Osborne, the corners. Cole Garrett, Brody McCutcheon, the safeties. That's your Congressman Mike Rogers starting lineup for the Southside defense. 3rd down and 8. First down line to reach the 30 for Moody. It'll be the pop pass, and reading it perfectly is the Southside defense as Brody McCutcheon comes up on the tackle for loss. K.D. Barnes received that pass as we'll take a D&G Roofing second look at that TFL.
Well, they just outflanked right there. I mean, he came up and did what he's supposed to did right there. And they're running east to west right now. They were having better success when they was running on the interior with the inside zone, you know.
So that was a loss of 3 on 3rd and 8, and looks as if that Charlie Johnson and the Moody offense, they want to go for it on 4th down. Not a bad part of the field to go for it as the play clock down to 10 seconds. There you take a look at Jake Gaines looking over his offense on a big 4th down. Southside wants to get off the field with solid field position. Play clock down to 0, and looks as if it'll be the flag on the play, and punting time coming up for Moody. So a solid job defensively by Southside as they gave up a few yards, but like a lot of their defensive possessions, the last time we saw Southside against Leeds, their defense doesn't break.
Right, they bend, but they don't break, and I think Moody may have gotten out of rhythm right there of sorts. They ran 3 consecutive jet plays, you know, trying to get east to west, and, you know, so on the Southside read jet, they coming downhill.
It'll be McMichael back to receive. It'll be one of those duplicate numbers, and Caleb Goff to punt, and that's a very high but short punt. However, gets a rock solid, a great, in fact, Moody roll inside the 10, and comes to a stop at the 4-yard line. Not pretty, but very effective that time for Caleb Goff.
Absolutely, you said it best. Hey, it wasn't pretty at all, but extremely effective.
And we'll take a Congressman Mike Rogers look at the starting lineups for Southside as Jordan Bryan, a very reliable quarterback this year for Southside following the injury to Gage Neesmith, will come out onto the field. Mason Teague, one of the top running backs in Class 5A at running back. McMichael, Cooney, and McNair, 3 of the wide receivers, and Cooper Head, the starting tight end. Also, Jamin Brown, you take a look at the left tackle on the offensive line for Southside. Give goes to Teague, having a hard time finding running room as he does get across the 5 to about the 7-yard line on second effort. Rest of the offensive line for Southside, from left guard to right tackle, Talon Jenkins, Jake Stewart, Evan McDonald, and Reese Thomason. For the Moody defense, you'll have Cameron Mallory at nose tackle. Also Logan Hall and Simon Molay as the defensive ends. Zane Smith, Marshall Teofilo, Gavin Baker, and Brady Dodd as the linebackers. Give to Teague off the right side. Cannot turn the corner, but does fight for yardage as he pushes the pile toward the 9-yard line. So that's going to set up a 3rd down and still about medium to long yardage to go. The first down line to reach for Southside will be the 15-yard line.
Right, they're very physical. Both teams are very physical up front.
Defensive backfield for Moody, Sidney Walton and Chase Jackson, the corners. A.J. Madison, Caleb Goff, your safeties. And also looks as if that Eric Vance out on the field at one of those defensive back spots here on third down for Moody. 3rd and 7. Play clock down to 7. Keeper for Bryan. Tries to turn the corner, needs the 15, and shoved out of bounds about the 12-yard line. Now that's where Moody had a lot of trouble against Connor Nelson for leads last week, but Moody does a solid job defending that quarterback keeper for Southside. So it's going to be a 3-and-out, and Moody should have some outstanding field position coming up on the punt for Caleb Ogle.
I was about to say that with the way they flipped the field on that punt right there, they should get outstanding field position.
So it'll be 4th down and 6. They'll actually spot the football back at the 9-yard line, so just a 1-yard gain for Jordan Bryan. Ogle awaits the snap. Solid punt that time for Ogle, as it'll be a fair catch for A.J. Madison decides to return and gets a few yards upfield inside the 40, so outstanding real estate to start this second drive coming up for Moody.
And if he'd have had one block right there, James, he might have could have took that to the distance.
It'll be a 1st down and 10 from the Southside 39 for Moody. They want to get a win and at least clinch a share of the region championship here in 5A Region 6, as Moody was able to begin their opening drive around their own 30-yard line, drive inside the 40, but Southside's defense was able to stiffen up and force a punt on Moody's opening offensive possession. McMichael Waste with our first quarter coverage, as we're a little less than 7 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. Victory Law also brings you our FNN High School Football Game of the Week. So Charlie Johnson, who had a couple of pass completions on that opening drive, looks as if also a flag thrown and a penalty going on Moody on a hold on the return. And there you see the indication on the hold, so a bit of a break for Southside, as it'll still be excellent field position for Moody, but right on the other side of midfield, still in Southside territory. Johnson gives Burke, and he'll get stood up right at the line of scrimmage. Excellent run defense by the Southside Panthers, as you take a look at a couple of their defenders led by number 12, Cameron Flowers, as well as Colby Dodd helping out on the tackle. So to be 2nd down, just a yard gain for Burke. 3-man front shown by Southside. Almost at the halfway point of the first quarter. Johnson awaits the snap. And he'll give to Burke, cuts it up, and wrestles his way forward to about the 46-yard line. Still good defense that time to read the run play for Southside. Braden Bowers leading the way on the tackle, and also Grant Golden from his defensive line spot on the stop.
Well, they run the inside zone right there, and the offensive line right now is not getting a push. They zone blocking, but it's more lateral instead of getting next level. You gotta go next level because they got 6 in the box up there.
Johnson drops, looks over the D, under pressure, steps up, and goes down across the 45 to the 44-yard line. Excellent pressure applied by Cameron Flowers on the quarterback, Charlie Johnson. There you see an excellent rush that time by Flowers, getting around Jonathan Myers, the right tackle for Moody, as it'll be another 4th down and 5 yards to go. So to keep this drive alive, Moody needs the 39 for the 1st down. Big 4th down opportunity for Southside to get off the field. Snap. Plenty of time. Throw over the middle, and that is complete for the 1st down and a whole lot more. as KD Barnes advances deeper into Southside territory for a clutch first down catch.
Oh, he stood in there and he threw that thing. They gave him all day right there. He stood in there and he rifled that ball right down there. It's a great throw, great catch.
And there you see Cole Garrett. Eddie was just about 2 seconds late from being able to break up that ball, as there's the quick handoff and a loss on the play for the running back in Blaine Burke, as Southside read that play perfectly for a TFL. So you also saw, by the way, the D&G Roofing second look as far as that KD Barnes reception that got the ball to the 23 of Southside. That was about a 20-yard catch on 4th and 5. Play action. Johnson throws toward the end zone into coverage, and that's incomplete.
Oh, it hit him in the hands, though. He threw away his receiver, only had a chance.
I tell you what, though, Brody McCutcheon had great coverage on Braden Wright.
Excellent coverage, but watch this throw right here. It's gonna hit him right there in the hands.
That was a perfect
look right
throw.
there. It hits him perfectly in the hands right there.
Yeah, that was. You couldn't have made a better throw if you're Charlie Johnson that
Absolutely.
time.
You got to make that catch. You got to make that catch. It's great coverage, though. Great coverage.
So it's going to result in a 3rd down and 13 to go. Line to reach for the first down, the 13-yard line. Johnson tosses far side complete, as will be KD Barnes being wrapped up and should be close to the first down and good enough for the first down.
And what I'm noticing, secondary is playing like that's a timing route right there. They're giving them 12 to 14 yards cushion, and that's exactly what Moody has to do to open this thing up. They got to throw those short underneath passes and then get them down, and once they get them down, then you can go over the top.
Burke up the middle, squirms his way through inside the 10 to about the 7-yard line. Already a couple of on-time fashion first downs on 3rd and 4th down for Moody on this drive. As we approach the 3.5-minute mark here in the first quarter, brought to you by McMichael Waste. So it'll be a 2nd and goal situation.
The middle is wide open.
Johnson throws back shoulder fade and caught for the touchdown. Excellent grab. Perfect throw that time on the back shoulder fade by Wright to Johnson to KD Barnes.
And if we can see that again, Jim, you see he releases that ball before he ever get out his break right there. If you watch closely, he throws the ball now, and he's even not out of his break right there yet. And that's an excellent throw and catch.
Oh, yeah, that's a pinpoint throw that time by Charlie Johnson. And here's at least a scramble situation as anybody's ball, as that'll be intercepted, and what results in a 2-point conversion attempt is no good. So Moody does take advantage, however, on an 8-yard touchdown pass from Charlie Wright to KD Barnes to get the first points on the board this evening, up 6-0 late in the first quarter here on the FNN High School Football Game of the Week.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Our FNN High School Football Game of the Week brought to you tonight by Southeastern Utility Services. McMichael Waste with our first quarter coverage. And we'll have another kickoff on the way for Moody. Actually, their first kickoff brought to you by Metro Bank, as it'll be Cole Garrett and Mason Teague deep to receive around their own 5-yard line for Southside. An 8-yard touchdown pass from Johnson to KD Barnes has given Moody the first points of the night. As we approach the 3-minute mark left in the opening quarter. Final region week in the state of Alabama, our Battle of the Belt for 2023. Moreno with the end over end kick to Garrett at the 2. Lets his blocks develop, breaks down, and across the 15 to about the 17 for Cole Garrett. So Southside just on their second offensive possession of the night as they've had the short end of field position so far in this first quarter.
Well, Mood is keeping them pent back right now, excellent kicking game, and field position plays an important role.
Our FNN High School Football Game of the Week brought to you every week by our good friends at FNN Bank. Surface solutions and strength isn't just a tagline, just a way of doing business for FNN Bank. 1st and 10 from their own 18 for Southside. Bryan gives to Teague. Wants to go off the right side, has room, and a flag on the play. As Teague crosses the 35, goes out of bounds, but we got some yellow hanky back upfield.
Yeah, it's down in the area where it's usually holding it, so I think you're probably going to see this one come back.
Yeah, we'll take a D&G Roofing second look, and there's the holding call going right as Teague turns the corner. But not sure who got the holding call that time, but a bad break for the Southside Panthers as they'll be backed up inside their own 10-yard line. About half the distance is almost the full 10 yards.